evening, friends. May I request everyone to be seated. We're just going to start. Both our keynote speakers have already arrived. Kishan Anna, please. Waiting for you. Very, very good evening to everyone. Friends, very, very warm welcome. Let's start this beautiful evening with a big round of applause for ourselves for coming here. We're coming here in Sakinaka when we were deciding the venue, we were really worried because it takes minimum 45 minutes for half a kilometer's drive, so we're just worried. So still many people are coming in. So one more big round of applause to everyone for making it here. So let me once again welcome everyone to this wonderful venue, Peninsula Grand Hotel, for the second Knowledge Summit that we are organizing. This is organized by the Indian Bunts Chamber of Commerce and Industries. I am Srinath Shetty, recently taken over as the General Secretary for the Chamber of Commerce. So I am in my training period and learning. I just took over from Mr. Suda. So he's mentoring me how to organize the events, etc., etc. So thank you, Suda sir. So let me extend a warm welcome from all the board of directors. A lot of prominent dignitaries here from the Bunts Sangha. I think Chandranna is still to come. From the Bombay Bunts Association, welcome to them. Members from Jawab, and all our members who actually made it for this lovely event. A warm welcome to Nilesh Bhai. We're all waiting to hear you. Warm welcome, Mahesh. Right. So I know Mahesh for a long time and been part of his many of his seminars and webinars. So we look forward to one more opportunity here with our Bunts. So as this is the beginning of the event, so let's start with the first point of our agenda, and that's lighting up the lamp. So may I just request our President, Mr. K.C. Shetty, to come here and light the lamp for us, along with the Vice President, Mr. S.B. Shetty. And may I request all the Board of Directors to also come in here. All the BODs, please.
गजवदना गणनाथ प्रभु गजवदना गणनाथ प्रभु संकटहरणा भवभयहरणा संकटहरणा भवभयहरणा वेदविधायक मोदकहस्ता वेदविधायक मोदकहस्ता विद्यादायक हे मम बन्धो विद्यादायक हे मम बन्धो गजवदना गणनाथ प्रभु
Hello. We start off with a hello. We start off with a 2 minutes AV on our Indian Bunch Chamber of Commerce. It'll tell you about our vision, our activities, and it will give you a right kind of a background before we get on with our knowledge summit. So, Sushil, please start.
Indian Bunts Chamber of Commerce and Industry, an association of knowledge, networking, and development, has been in existence since 3 decades. The Bunts community, that was known for its traditional hospitality industry, has now transformed itself to excel in all fields like engineering, chemicals, plastics, packaging, IT, real estate, hospitality, constructions, Bollywood, and many more. Visionaries like Mr. S.M. Shetty and B.D. Shetty conceived the idea of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the year 1990. The ideology was carried over further by Mr. V.K. Shetty, Mr. Vivek Shetty, and since its inception, IBCCI always has a unique genre of members from Bunts community, which makes it one of the most respected business associations in India. In the initial days, IBCCI played a crucial role of catalyst between the government and Bunt industrialists to regularize the growth of their organizations. Thereon, IBCCI has been proactive in putting forth their opinions to lawmakers, regulators, stakeholders, etc. Over the decades, IBCCI has evolved as a platform where MSMEs can connect and network with fellow members, other trade associations, trade embassies, and online business communities to promote and expand their business. The recent activities in IBCCI includes various soft skill programs like time management, motivational lectures by industry leaders, business seminars and training programs on varied subjects for the benefit of its members and their employees. IBCCI is expanding its reach to encourage participation from members across the globe. IBCCI has been organizing summits, networking events, and award ceremonies from time to time by inviting industry veterans to share their success stories and mentor the budding Bunts entrepreneurs, which consists of more than 600 members from diverse industries. Rewards and recognition: Bunts Star Awards. Grand award ceremony at Sahara Star by recognizing the outstanding achievers among its members in the august presence of people like Shri Nitin Gadkari, Shri D.V. Sadanand Gowda, Shri Rajkiran Rai, MD and CEO, Union Bank of India, and Shri Gopal Shetty, Member of Parliament, who are the guiding force for the progress of the nation. We have also organized events like webinars on different topics for members and non-members. IBCCI encouraged women empowerment by subsidizing the membership fee. Philanthropy. IBCCI helped the families, those who lost their breadwinners, in a big way. Family Fun Fiesta. IBCCI members with their family enjoyed the fellowship and bonding at the Leela Palace. IBCCI have the mission of organizing exhibitions, trade fairs, B2B contact sessions, international conferences, international and domestic industrial visits, meetings with consulates of different countries to promote Bunt community at the international platforms, and with the vision of development of industry and commerce by addressing core issues. IBCCI, under the leadership of current President Mr. K.C. Shetty and its executive committee members, is creating a platform for exchange of technology and ideas to create a common business place for all Bunts entrepreneurs. Let's make IBCCI a strong body by becoming a member today. For more details, log into our website www.buntschamber.com.
Isn't that, it actually gives a very short glimpse of what IBCCI is. It's a 360-degree that we do as a Chamber of Commerce to promote trade and promote commerce. I still remember the last event which we did with a grand success. That was in Sahara Star, when the Honorable Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, was there. That was just 1 week before the COVID announcement. So it was a grand success. We were lucky we could complete that event. So we thought after COVID, we don't know. That was a pre-COVID era event which we did, where we had 1,000 people. And after that, we didn't stop. We used technology platform to do webinars. So we had close to 20 webinars in the period of two years on various subjects: hospitality industry, real estate, construction, taxation, GST, how to become an entrepreneur. So many different knowledge series we had. The last physical event we did was in JW Marriott, right, which was on 3 industry specific, which also was appreciated by many people. So in the same series, we have now created a Knowledge Summit 2, where we have 2 eminent speakers who have come here, Nilesh Bhai and Mr. Mahesh Singhi. 2 important subjects. One is talking about our economy and the financial market. We all need to know how our economy is poised so that we can build our strategy, whichever industry we are. So that's where Nilesh Bhai would be speaking about. And Mahesh Singhi ji, an experienced advisor on the MSME sector to the government of Maharashtra, has been advising many industries on the strategy of growing business or exiting business. You need to know when to grow your business, when to focus on even exiting the business. The timing is very, very crucial. So I won't take much time. So let me invite our president, our star, to come on the stage and give his welcome address. Mr. K.C. Shetty, please.
ಮಾತೆರಿಗಳ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಗುಡ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಈಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಡಿಯೋ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ತೋನ ಮಾತೆಲ್ಲ ತಾಟಿ ಬಟ್ಟನ ಗೊತ್ತಾಂಡು ಮಾತೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಗಲೆ ಆಡಿಯೋ ವಿಜುವಲ್ ತೂದು ಖುಷಿ ಆಂಡು ಅಲ್ತು ಬೊಕ್ಕ ಐಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ವಿಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ IBCCI. IBCCI started around 32 years back by our veteran industrialists like Mr. S.M. Shetty, B.D. Shetty, Sudhak Regde, and V.K. Shetty and others. They felt that time only like Marwadi community, Gujarati community, even Bunts also must have a strong chamber of commerce. That is the reason they have started, and we are also taking this one forward now. Now IBCCI is working towards making our next generation, we want to, they have to become job creators, not job seekers. That is our whole idea. As Srinath already told, we have done 5 landmark programs in last year. he has already explained what are the programs we did, and I think last one was the Knowledge Summit at JW Marriott, and that was a very successful function. So with that success, we wanted to do this also. As a president of IBCCA, it is my honor and great pleasure to welcome on behalf of you all our distinguished speaker for today's evening, Mr. Nilesh Shah, Managing Director, Kotak AMC, and Mr. Mahesh Singhi, Founder and MD of Singhi Advisors. Warm welcome to all distinguished guests, respected advisory board members, board of directors, other office bearers, respected members of IBCCI. Once again, I welcome all of you for the second Knowledge Summit. We are meeting after a long time because of COVID. I think last 2 years, of course, we have not met physically, but we had so many webinars and plus 2 programs in Leela and JW Marriott. Now India is doing very well and leading in all fronts. Our projected GDP growth is between 6 to 7%, and our Prime Minister now heading G20 summit in a prestigious position as a president. This shows how world respects our country today on the international forum. Our country is becoming Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is evident from the various exhibitions we attended in foreign countries internationally. Most of the stalls represented by our Indian companies. It gives immense pleasure also to see our community members are doing well. IBCCI closely working with our brothers to give helping hand. IBCCI is providing a platform for the Bunts entrepreneurs to network with each other for trade and commerce. We have now strengthened our board of directors with introduction of Mr. Pradeep Shetty, CMD Heritage Group, I think is there, he has come. No. And Mr. Dinesh Chandra Hegde, Managing Director, Prakriti Life Science Private Limited. He's got a factory in Udupi near Brahmavar. And Mr. Anil Shetty, Edinje, CMD Tricon Polymers Private Limited. And Mr. R.K. Shetty, MD Heramba Industries. R.K. is there? No, he has not come. Okay. We have also made strong advisory board of 20 members with all the prominent Bunts stalwarts from India and abroad. They will be advising us to strengthen the chambers. New initiatives of the IBCCI. Here, I want to add my story. See, I was working with Bajaj Electricals for 10 years. Then after 10 years, I thought of, starting my own industry. And I was just thinking what to do because, and I'm talking about 42 years back. That time, you need a place, you need a telephone number, and you need a card. So for that also, it was not available. And, for doing that, it took nearly 1 month. I was having the product ready. I was knowing how to manufacture it. Everything was there, but I was not having the address. Then, after finding that, then I got the order. Then, I have rented premises. Then I started my own. And today, I'm happy that I'm employing more than 1,000 people in Bangalore and Daman. Keeping that story in mind, we had a small office, big office in Chandivilli. That we have made it as a business launch. For any upcoming startup companies, from our Bunts community. If you want to start anything, any industry, or I was having problem. Of course, now telephone is not a problem because mobile is there, but you can have telephone facility. Then you can have this video conferencing. Then we got a conference hall also. Then we got secretarial service also. So anybody wants to start any business, they can utilize our place and they are welcome. But what are the criteria we have to decide. Then we will let you know once it is ready and once we open it. Also, we are planning for Star Achievers Award 2023. We have done it in 2020. After that, we have not done it because of the COVID. And we are actually, taking a point, trying for VVIP guests. And this time, mostly, we want to call some VVIPs, but we are just trying. Mostly, we want to keep it in March, and same date, everybody wants to keep on March 1st only. But we will try, subject to availability of VVIP and this place. Actually, even we should have a big hotel like Sahara, where we can accommodate more than 1,000, because last time it was 1,000, this time it may be more. And also, we are planning industrial visits abroad, because nobody wants to visit in India. They want to see, Israel and all, how they manufacture, what they manufacture, how their, productivity is more and all. Of course, we want to do that also. And we want to launch this one chamber office in Bangalore and Pune. Already, we have launched it, but we are now deciding, who are the vice presidents. Already decided that we have to talk, because they are not in India, so we have not called them today, so that we will be doing it. Okay, and actually, we are also planning to have chamber office in UK and USA. Ini masti jana baidire, I will speak in Tulu. Ini masti jana baidire, net members lo lere, non-members lo lere. Here members atta ijjera, agalen ini venje form fill up maltade, nigulo kortu potare dead death. Enkale na venje undu, because first 3 years term kordutere, now another 3 years term kordutere with one condition, I have to make 750 members. Okay, for that, I hope you all will help me. Otherwise, I have to vacate the chair. So every member who has attended here, at least, everybody is capable of bringing at least 10 people. So we want to have that numbers. Okay, and actually, even we got ATG this one accreditation, and for this CA Shankar Shetty, I think he has come or not. Yeah, CA Shankar Shetty is responsible, and thank you very much, sir. Sanjeev Shetty, sorry, not Shankar, sorry. Sanjeev Shetty. Sanjeev Shetty is here? No, to Shankar Shetty chalega. Then, in our case, we don't take any donation, because ours is not, profit-making this body and all. And we want, donations, for functions and all. We want this, what is that, sponsors. So here also, we got 5 actually sponsors from our 6 sponsors from our directors only. So this is this one, and I want to close my speech, and only with the request, you keep 750 numbers. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Casey, for outlining the future activities that we are going to do. Enviana, please. I think what he said about the business lounge is a really exciting project that we have taken up. Like he said, it will be to encourage our startups. They get a free office space with a conferencing facility, video conferencing facility, and all our members. It's a business lounge where any members can go, sit, have their meeting. So it's like a business center. So it's the first that we are launching it in the next 2 weeks' time. So that's a very lovely concept which we launched of an IBCCI business lounge. Only requirement for someone to access it has to be a member. right? Any startup person, not a member, but recommended by any member of IBCCI can get an access there. So it's required that everyone becomes a member, like Casey said. So he's got an extension of 3 years term. Another 750 members, we definitely need to ensure that he gets another extension, because the kind of activity under his leadership has happened under him and SB together. They are the Narendra Modi and Amit Shah of IBCCI. So they are a very good combination. So I think we'll keep supporting both of them, right? We wanted SB Shetty to speak today. He has a problem with the throat. He's shying away from coming on the stage. So I was telling him to come on the stage. He said, no, not today. So that's fine. So we will definitely ensure the term gets extended for sure. So now we are getting into action. So our speaker number one, that's Mr. Nilesh Shah, requires no introduction. So he's a very, very popular, prolific speaker. He's a managing director of Kotak Mutual Funds. He's a gold medalist chartered accountant. He's also a cost accountant. In every company which he has worked for, he's ensured the best fund house of the year award comes to his team. Nilesh Shah is a member of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister's office. He's also the president of the Chamber of Commerce, probably the oldest Chamber of Commerce in India, Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. You know, Nilesh Bhai comes from a very, very humble beginning. He did his schooling in a vernacular medium. I read it in the interview. He used to feel shy talking. But from there, because of his efforts, because of his hard work, today he is known as one of the best speakers on various subjects, right from the state of the country, the financial market. In fact, you'll see it, you'll hear it to believe it. I've been part of his, my banker is Kotak, and I've attended many of his seminars and webinars. So I request everyone to welcome Mr. Nilesh Shah with a very big round of applause.
Hi. Hi, very good evening to all of you. Mr. K.C. Shetty, Mr. Srinath Prasad Bhai. Thank you. Let me first ask a simple question. How many of you are feeling bullish about India? Majority. So there's no need for my presentation. We are all convinced about our country, and that itself is a big game changer. Very recently we hosted a German delegation, and you know, as it is typical, they send an email, and he said, when I was in India, it was so refreshing. Now I'm back in Germany, which is a depressing country. Normally we used to hear such things about our country. Now it is so nice to hear about others' country. If we look at the headlines around us, we'll realize why that is the case. If I ask in this audience, how many of us have not paid our electricity bill or telephone bill? There is hardly anyone. The same audience in America, 1/6 of audience would have said that we are late in payment of our electricity bill or a utility bill. Now normally white Americans and Asians would have paid their bill. That means the black American, the Hispanics, probably 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 households are late in payment of utility bills. This is the wedding season in India. I'm sure all of you have to attend a wedding after this seminar. How many of you have received a card like this where the couples are requesting some donation, some gift in cash so that they can pay their EMIs? Anyone in India? I have carried this slide to many places, many functions like this. I haven't yet met one person who has received this kind of card. In India, and many of you will be in hospitality industry, we throw away expired goods or we give away before they are about to become expired. In UK now they are saying that please throw away expired labels so that needy people can come and buy those merchandise at a discounted price. And why do they have to do such things? Well, because half of the UK is paying the price for their karma. They looted us, but now they are left with no more money. In Germany, companies which survived for World War I, World War II and hundreds of years are unable to survive Ukraine invasion. I heard a joke told by Vladimir Putin, and it is so relevant for Germany. So Mr. Putin said that a German kid is asking his father, Papa, why is it so cold in our house? And he said, Beta, because we have put sanctions on Ukraine. And he said, why have we put sanction on them? Oh, because they have been invaded by Russia, so we have put sanction on Russians. He said, then neither we are Ukrainian nor we are Russian, so why have we put sanction on Russian? He said, because we want to punish Russian for their invasion of Ukraine. And the kid then asks the father, Papa, are we Russian? Because the punishment is coming to us. It is our house which is without the heat. We can criticize our government without any fear. Don't try doing anything like that in Russia. Their largest oil company's chairman had criticized Ukraine invasion, and then he got admitted to hospital and fell down from hospital window. Whether he was down or whether he was pushed, who knows? But he is the 8th businessman to die in such a manner. How many investors will be comfortable investing in a country like this where mere criticism of your government, you could be killed? Many of us, when we think about Switzerland, we think about Swiss banks, private banks, numbered accounts. The Swiss National Bank has incurred a loss of $143 billion in just 9 months of this year. It is more than all the Indian companies' profitability put together. Now imagine, will you be comfortable putting your money in Switzerland? All of us have heard about global hunger index. In that, India had come way below countries like Sri Lanka, who survive on our gift of food grains. So I decided to figure out whether those hunger index are constructed properly or not. This is the global sale of antidepressant medicines per thousands of persons. The most happiest countries have the highest sale of antidepressant medicines. We don't even figure in that. Now, how can happy people be taking antidepressant medicine? I've asked this question to many people. No one has been able to educate me. If any one of you know why happy people have to take antidepressant medicine, do educate me. It clearly shows how humbug these surveys and indices are. In that global doomsday scenario, India is doing reasonably well. We are the only major economy in the world who has improved its debt to GDP ratio between subprime crisis to COVID crisis. There's no other country in the world which has achieved this. Our corporates and our households have deleveraged. That means they have repaid debt. And Government of India obviously has borrowed more money because of COVID. But collectively, as a country, we have deleveraged. No other country has done this. Second, we have done well despite shocks. In our Kundli, Rahu and Ketu is oil price of Brazil and Russia, so that we don't feel the pain of oil prices, and our Rahu Kal permanently ends. I had accompanied Honorable Finance Minister as part of CII delegation to San Francisco, US. And I got 5 minutes to speak before her. So this was the slide I had shared with global investors about what is happening in India. In 2014, we were 10th largest economy. Today we are 5th largest. We thought we'll become 3rd largest by 2030. But now IMF says that we'll become 3rd largest by 2028. We are going up and they are coming down. So we are meeting in 2028. Else we would have met in 2030. Our share in global GDP has gone up from 2.6% to 3.4%. And by 2030, we should be about 5 to 6%. Earlier, we were coach to the global growth engine, global growth train. Now we are the engine. With 3.2% market share, I am contributing 22% of incremental global GDP. If India grows, world will grow. If India doesn't grow, world will not grow. All over the world, people grow by exporting goods and services. We are one of that rare country in the world whose share in goods and services exports is lower than GDP share. When the world wants to invest, we were getting $2 in 2014. Today we are getting $7. We are becoming one of the most preferred investment destination in the world. We were 7th largest automobile manufacturer in 2014. Now we are 4th. In a year or two, we will overtake Japan to become 3rd largest automobile manufacturer. We still make Altos and Maruti 800 equivalents, but in terms of volume, we'll be bigger than Japan and Germany and other countries. We were 4th largest steel manufacturer, now we are 2nd largest. We were 12th largest mobile handset manufacturer in 2014. Today we are 2nd largest. And if we run little bit harder, we'll become the largest mobile handset manufacturer in the world. There were 4 unicorns in 2014 in India. When I prepared this slide, it was 106. Today, as I speak, it is 110. And which is why your effort of creating a lounge where startups can come and sit and work is a fantastic initiative. This will hopefully create some unicorns in Bunt community. Our share in BRICS, Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa, was about 14% in 2014 in terms of market cap. Today it is 22%. We have gone up. Everyone else has come down. In emerging market, we have moved from 7% to 15%. That's when I prepared the slide. Today, as I speak, it is 16%. If HDFC Bank gets included in MSCI Emerging Market Index, as they have announced, it will become 17%. Imagine the journey from 7 to 17 in just about 8-9 years. Everyone else is going down. We are the only country which is going up. Look at the return which we have made for foreign investors. our closest competitor China has given negative return for last 8 years. For 30 years, China has given zero return to investors. We have delivered 9% compounded dollar return to investors. Where do you think the world will go to invest? In China, where they have made zero return in last 30 years, or in India, where they are making positive return? This is the past. How can we be confident about future? If you see Indian cricket team, nowadays, despite that semi-final loss in T20 World Cup, we are top 1, 2 or 3 team. Over last couple of years, we have maintained that top ranking. Why did that top ranking came? Because our players are consistently in top 5, whether it's Bumrah, Surya Kumar Yadav, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. As players go up, the team ranking goes up. Now let me share something about India. 4 out of top 10 construction activities happening in Indian cities: Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, and Hyderabad. The world's highest construction activities happening in 4 Indian cities. 6 out of top 10 fastest growing cities are in India: Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore. I'm quite sure that even a city like Ahmedabad and Jaipur is the fastest growing city, but they are not disclosing everything. And if your cities are higher, wouldn't the country be going up? All of you know about Amul. It is India's largest FMCG company with about 61,000 crore turnover. In this annual report, they have stated that we want to become world's largest food company by 2047, having turnover of 18 lakh crore. We take pride that Amul is bigger than Hindustan Unilever. In 2047 or before, we'll take pride that Amul is bigger than Unilever PLC. If my companies are aiming to be number 1, if my cities are number 1, then can the state or the country be behind? This is the change of India. I'm sure some of you will recognize the players at the top, and most of us will recognize players at the bottom. In the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, Indian cricket team was generally at the bottom half of the ranking. Most of the time we used to draw the match, couple of times lose, and few times win. That era's cricket team we could have called as Shivaji Park cricket team, because Gavaskar, Vengsarkar, Wadekar, Umrigar, they were all coming in from Dadar Shivaji Park. When Sunil Gavaskar, the world's best opening batsman of his era, used to go, he was always carrying the burden कि अगर मैं out हो गया तो पूरी टीम मेरे पीछे पीछे आ जाएगी. So he had to always play cautiously. His first aim was to ensure that I don't lose the match, and then he'll think about winning. Now we have people coming in from different cities: Ranchi, Rajkot, Baroda, Surat, Palghar, and this Is it audible? Is it audible? Perfect. So, as our cricket team from let's say, India to Bharat, slowly our ranking started improving. Nowadays we go to win the match. Sometimes we lose in semi-final, it's a separate matter. But invariably we are playing for the win. More matches we win. Whoa, can we take that mic? Yes, this will work. So, as cricket team shifted from India to Bharat, the attitude shifted. And now we are consistently in top quality team. The same thing is happening in business. While the world wants to believe you that India is run by few businessmen, that's not true. Businessmen and entrepreneurs from second tier town are today conquering businesses. Who would have thought that a Nitin Kamath or Nikhil Kamath can create India's largest broking company from a city in Bangalore? We always thought stock market was domain of Gujaratis, Marwadis, Sindhis. But here is a guy sitting in Bangalore creating India's largest broking company. There are as many stories of these entrepreneurs. Who would have thought that in Nagpur an entrepreneur can create $1 billion plus company and fortune in explosive business? Today, India's largest explosive business in which we have been investor for long, Solar Industries, is from Nagpur. In Jaipur, someone does used car business, that's also a unicorn. This business is shifting from Tatas, Birlas, Ambanis and Adanis to entrepreneurs. I couldn't start a business because my parents didn't have enough money. Now I have enough money to help my daughter start business, but if I try to throw my money, I'm sure my daughter will respond, hell with your money, Papa. I have a business idea, I'll go to private equity and venture capital and I'll raise money, I don't care for your money. This is the democratization in India's entrepreneurship. If you have idea, you'll be able to raise money. And this is going to change India's growth as people become job creator rather than job seeker. There was a time when we were importing locomotives. Today, if any one of you have sat in Vande Bharat train, you'll realize we are making world-class train. It's cost effective. And yes, like true India story, Vande Bharat was not a smooth mission. But someone persisted and eventually created Vande Bharat, which will now be exported to the world. I'm sure all of you have seen movie like Roti Kapda or Makan and Kali Charan. What was the song in Roti Kapda or Makan? Mehngai Maar Gayi. Who were the villain in this movie is a food black marketeer. Now tell me one last movie which you remember where the villain was a food black marketeer. We can hardly remember. How come our villains have turned terrorists and politicians and police officers from being food black marketeer? Because actually we have conquered the problem of food inflation. For last 13 months, Indian inflation is lower than American inflation. This has happened for the first time in our 75 years history. When my wife complains that inflation is higher and food bills are higher, I tell her that, look, our cousins in America is paying far more higher prices. Let's enjoy what we are getting. उनका दर्द दुख दर्द देख के अपना दुख दर्द कम हो जाता है. In 1991, we had to pledge gold to raise foreign exchange loan. We were on the verge of default for the first time in our history. Today, we have seen $150 billion drawdown in our reserves, and yet we have the sixth largest FX reserves in the world. Thanks to our IT industry, thanks to people working in Middle East, thanks to foreign direct investment, we have been able to withstand that $150 billion outflow. This is German minister communicating with their citizen that I know you are in trouble, you need money, but I can only do 100,000 transactions a day. I don't have ability to do more than that transfer. And please give me 18 months, I'll transfer. What is the population of Germany? Just double the size of Mumbai, Greater Mumbai. What do? Every quarter we do 11 crore transfers to farmer. 11 crore. And Germany is saying I can't do more than 100,000 transactions a day. Germany in payment infrastructure is 0.1% of India. There was a Colonial magazine reporter in India. For 3 years, he couldn't find anything good in India. And whenever he used to write, he'll write only negative things. Because he was so good in bad-mouthing India, he was promoted. He went to France. The first tweet he made out of France was, when I wanted to shift money in India from one bank account to another bank account, it was instant. The damn thing took 3 days in France. What he didn't mention was that in France, when you want to transfer money from one bank account to another bank account, you have to pay charges. In India, it is free. This is our digital infrastructure. How many of you have NRI relatives? Then you will relate with me. I have lots of NRI relatives. And in my childhood days, they were my source of perfume, chocolates, toiletries, and everything. And in order to receive those free gifts, I had to always hear, in our America it is like this, in your India it is like this. In our England it is like this, in your India it is like this. But if you wanted to get those chocolates and perfumes and shampoos, you had no option but to hear that. For 15, 20 years I heard all those things. Now I am taking the revenge with interest. When they come here, I show them that you have to take still vaccine certification in physical paper document. In my India, it comes on WhatsApp. Hopefully one day you will reach our level. 20 साल का एक साथ ब्याज के साथ वसूल हो गए. This is India's digital infrastructure. We are far, far superior to any of the country in the world. There is one thing which we should be doing better, but we are grudgingly doing it. Our government believes that elephants can fly. And that's why they keep on putting money in institutions like BSNL, MTNL, and Air India. But we all know that elephants don't fly. And which is why it is important that we do divestment. There was a company called Hindustan Zinc Limited, which was a public sector undertaking till 2003. It used to make about 250 crore loss every year and produce about 100,000 tons of zinc. In 2003, it was transferred via public-private partnership to Vedanta Group for operating it. The government got about 750 crore for 45% stake. And Vedanta started running the company. Fast forward to 2022, about 2 decades later, production is up 16 times from 100,000 tons to 1.6 million ton. The government gets about 2,000 crore by way of dividend on 25% stake which they are owning. The value of government's holding in Hindustan Zinc is now 35,000 crore. And Hindustan Zinc, by way of tax, royalty and dividend, contributes 10,000 crore to the economy. Same assets, same people, only the management changed. Our public sector undertakings have some of the finest assets and some of the finest people. Only thing, they don't get a reasonable environment in which they can operate. The CBI, the CVC, the CAG, there are so many restrictions on them that they are not able to deliver better outcome. If we pursue this path of public ownership to public-private partnership, those assets will be utilized better. Instead of taking money from government, they'll contribute to the government and our growth will be better. We are moving on this path, albeit at a slower pace. There was a time when almost 11 public sector banks were told not to do banking business. They were in existence, they were open only for collecting money, not for lending money. Today, we have one of the lowest NPA. We never ever had this kind of lower NPS in our history. All the Malyas and Modis and Choksis have now run away from India. Accretion of new Malyas and Modis and Choksis is not happening. What we build in terms of infrastructure over last 67 years, we are trying to build almost similar to that in next 10 years. Whether it's road, coal production, power generation, road, railway line. Over next 10 years, our infrastructure will be built, which we have built over last 60, 70 years. Mumbai-Pune was an overnight journey. Today, if you get out of Mumbai traffic, Mumbai-Pune is 1.5 hour journey. The same thing is being seen across various verticals. We are going to where we belong to. For almost 1800 years before Britishers looted us, we were contributing roughly about 25% of global GDP. Thanks to Britishers, we came down to low single digit. Now we are moving back towards mid single digit and hopefully someday we'll go towards high single digit. What we have done for 1800 years, we will be doing for next 1800 years. Is there a risk to this India growth story? Undoubtedly, yes. This is the statue of an English general in Trafalgar Square. It's a tribute given by Englishmen to English general in England. What have they written? To Major General Sir Henry Havelock KCB and his brave companions in arms during the campaign in India 1857. Englishman paying tribute to English general in England is worried about our sensitivity and he writes campaign in India. What have we read about 1857 in our history book? Gadar, Borvo, mutiny. Indians describing contribution of Indian soldiers for the independence of India are calling them mutineers. And Englishmen are calling campaign. This is our challenge. We are capable of scoring self-goals. There is one model in India called Singur model, where Tata's, India's most respected business house, went to set up a car manufacturing factory. It would have transformed that agriculture society into a modern society. Unfortunately, for a variety of reasons, farmers fought and finally Tata's moved out. Fortunately, in India, there is also a Sanand model, where SMS went Suswagatam. Tata Motors went to Sanand, set up their nano factory. They also acquired Ford's factory over there. And today, Sanand hasn't become like Singapore, but it's a thriving hub of automobile and engineering industry. The people there are more happy, they are enjoying modern life. There are schools, colleges, factories, employment, jobs, growth. Whereas in Singur, you only see despair. The farmers who protested Tata's entry in Singur are now praying that they'll come back. Now, if whole of India follows Singur model, we have no hope in life. If whole of India follows Sanand model, this is the greatest time for India. Let's hope and pray that we have more of Sanands and less of Singurs so that we can continue to move forward. Now, in that economic concept, let's talk about equity markets and how to make money. This is just one comparison of our size vis-a-vis the world. Just 6 or 7 American companies like Facebook, Microsoft, Google have lost more money than whole of India's market capitalization. So we are still a tiny player in the global horizon, in the global arena. However, we are one of the rising player in the global arena. In the past, whenever Fed used to raise interest rates, our market used to go down. In this cycle, every time Fed has raised rates, our markets have gone up. In fact, now we have to pray to the God that God let Fed raise interest rate because our markets are going up. Quite contradictory, but that's the fact. Ultimately, stock market is nothing but slave of earnings, slave of profitability. And look at how over last 20 years, India and US has moved. In the first 10 years of this century, India delivered far better return than America, almost 12 times more. Because our companies made more profit than American companies. Next 10 years, India didn't do much in dollar terms and America did very well because their companies made more profit. Over 20 years, our and American return is the same. The money which you made investing in Google and Microsoft and Apple is equivalent to investing in Tata Motors and HDFC Bank and State Bank of India. So for 20 years, we are delivering similar return to what America is delivering. And that's because our companies are delivering same profitability growth as America. Today, undoubtedly, we are trading at gold valuation. Normally, we trade at 40% premium. Now we trade at 86% premium. There is no country which comes nearer to us in terms of valuation. So in some sense, we are like Virat Kohli or Surya Kumar Yadav. Every time we go to bet, people will expect us to score a century. If we don't deliver on those expectations, our markets will correct. If we deliver on those expectations, we'll continue to grow. The second thing our market has seen is retail investor participation. Earlier, when market used to correct, Prasad Bhai will take us to meet investors and will tell them, please stay invested. Now it is the reverse way. Whenever market corrects, he brings money from all of you and say that Nilesh Bhai, go and invest in the market. Long-term India will do well. Every month we get 13,000 crore from about 2 crore Indians on a unique basis to invest into equity market. In the past, whenever foreigners used to sell, our markets used to fall. Now when they sell, our markets don't care because all of you help us buy from them. This is the biggest change which has happened in our market. We are still trading at our own valuation, not at a premium, because we remain where we are. All others have fallen down. And that's where we trade at a premium to others. What should be your allocation to equity. This is buy on dip market. This is the market where you play for next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The opportunity which we saw in last 30 years in slow motion, we will see similar wealth making opportunity in fast forward in next 7, 8, 10 years. Between 91 to 2021, Indian market cap went up by about $3 trillion, rounded off. That created Ambani, Adani, Tata, Birla, and so on and so forth. Next 7 to 10 years, we will see again creation of 3 trillion of market cap. The same opportunity of last 30 years will be visible in just next 7 to 10 years. That's your opportunity to make money. I guess this slide doesn't want to change. It wants to take a commitment from you that yes, in the correcting market, you'll keep on investing. We are quite confident that our economy will do well. But that doesn't mean that market will also do well every day. Markets will be like roller coaster. They'll go up as well as down. But subject to this volatility, if you stay invested, there's no doubt in my mind that you will make lots of money. Thank you. Do we have time to take some questions?
Hello. Thank you, Nilesh Bhai. It's always a pleasure and very, very exciting to see your presentation, hear you talk. And every time I sit through your presentation, I feel India is a superpower. Right? So it's really motivating and really nice. So what's good is you mixed Bollywood in the presentation, you brought cricket, you brought emotion, so it made that presentation really very exciting. We can go through that all over again. So thank you so much, Nilesh Bhai. Why don't you come in the center, please? So I request, this is a 10 minutes of question and answer. So may I request anyone having a question, please raise your hand. You'll be given a wireless mic to ask question directly to Nilesh Bhai. Anyone having a question, please raise a hand. Mr. S.B. Shetty, please.
Indian cricket team minus Sunil Gavaskar continued to grow. Indian cricket team minus Sachin Tendulkar continued to grow. Indian cricket team minus Virat Kohli also will continue to grow. And Indian cricket team minus Surya Kumar Yadav also will continue to grow. So I believe we will get our people. Now, this is not to take away credit of Sunil Gavaskar or Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli or Surya Kumar Yadav. Undoubtedly, it is their contribution which has helped India reach number one. If there was no Gavaskar, there would not have been Tendulkar. But that doesn't mean that I am advocating any of you to vote against Narendra Modi in 2024. Don't make that mistake. Please vote for him.
Hi Nilesh Bhai, very nice. As usual, you are the star performer anywhere you are on the podium. But many of us, wondering whether you are permitted to give some tips of investments. You are saying the making of, the growth and the equity side. We wonder, many of our community people from the hotel industry, some are from the chartered industry, and I don't know to figure many of them, unlike if you are in the pharmaceutical, chemical and all. So maybe what your industry expert in is, would you like to give few tips to the youngsters as well on the backside, that which industry probably they could also, see that they could come one day onto the dais and to give a few lectures? Thank you.
Sure. So let me give one stray thing. And this is from my limited knowledge of your community. If I'm wrong in that knowledge, obviously it will be totally inappropriate observation. But clearly your community is there in various hospitality segment. You run your business very efficiently. The turnaround time is very, very quick. It's hygiene food, so people keep on coming consistently. And you are catering to all the needs. So if a Gujarati wants sambar with sugar, you are able to deliver that. You don't say that this is my sambar and you have to eat it. No, what my customer wants, we can do. So you are able to make customization. No doubt that that business is reasonably profitable. But when I look outside in listed world, do I see a Bunt community listed hospitality company? No. You have to learn from farmers of Amul. They were all individual milk producer, and multinational companies used to take them for a ride. They came together. From being a entrepreneur, they become entrepreneur come member of a society. They let go their individual egos. They followed a basic discipline required to produce a quality milk, not to adulterate it, to deliver it to the society. But coming together, they created India's largest food company. They created a miracle of making India the world's largest milk producer. When these farmers were alone, we were 1/6 producer of milk compared to Europe. When these farmers came together, we became 1.5 times milk producer of Europe. When we say, 5 ungli milk ek muthi banti hai, Amul has shown it. What stops entrepreneurs of your community to create Amul of hotel? It will mean that you will have to let go your egos. It will mean that you will have to let go your entrepreneurship. But if you come together, you will create Amul, India's largest hotel company. And eventually you can aim to be the world's largest hotel company. I'm quite sure that our idli and dosa is far better than McDonald's burger. So one, we have to appreciate that China is way ahead of us. They can construct a metro in probably 12 months. We can only put pillars of few metros. The Sakinaka outside is the classical example of what we are capable of. So there's no way I can compete headlong with China because they are far more efficient than me. I have to compete with China like what we have done it in tiles. Now Morbi is not in good news right now because of that tragedy there. But as a town, it has set an example of how to compete with China. Morbi has a curse as per the Lokvaika, as per the, I don't know, what do you call Lokvaika in English? The old stories, folklore. That Machu water will always take bhog from Morbi. So in the 80s, there was a dam burst and the entire town was demolished. Everyone lost everything. From there, the town had to come up. Near to Morbi, there is a place where there is excellent quality clay available called Than. So they started taking that clay and started making tiles using coal as a fuel. It was competitive because you could do business in black, but it was highly polluting. But through that struggle, they rebuild Morbi compared to the devastation. Then one day Gujarat High Court came and said that you can't use coal because it is too polluting, you must shift to natural gas. The government of Gujarat supplied natural gas, but natural gas, the seller was only government of Gujarat, so you can't buy it in black. By calculating the calorific value of gas burnt, the government can also calculate how many tiles you are making. So the entire black industry became white industry. Now, this is where entrepreneurs of Morbi came together. They started focusing on design, they started focusing on quality, they started focusing on manufacturing process improvisation. Fast forward today, the export of tiles from Morbi is about 15,000 crore. It will touch 18,000 crore this year. They are making tiles which are cheaper than China and better than Italy. They are exporting to China. Morbi model suggests how we can compete with China. China is big gorilla. I can't fight with them directly. I have to use guerrilla tactic to fight with giant gorilla. There are strengths in India which I can leverage. Like that access to clay, I leverage. And then on top of it, I build better manufacturing process. I created economies of scale. I invested in Italian design companies to make tiles. And I honored my commitment to export to importers so that Morbi tiles become established. I'm sure there are many other areas where we have strength. On that, we have to compete with China. Now, in the process, can I get foreign multinational companies to come and establish base in India? Undoubtedly, yes. But why will they come here? They'll come here only if I can provide them some opportunity. I can provide them something interesting over China. So I have to ensure that they remain profitable. They come here for our strengths. Then I can fight with China. But if I go directly fighting with China, not wise.
Good evening, sir. If you analyze the industry as a whole, there are two types of industries. One is liquidity rich, other one is debt rich. If you see the results, the companies which are strongly based on debt are doing very well. If you see the companies which are liquidity rich like L&T and all, they are not doing that much well compared to Adani and all. They are relying heavily on the debt. But when you see the risk factor, the companies which are heavily relying on debt are not very safe. We have a lot of examples like Reliance Capital, Shrey group of companies, ABG Shipyard, all those things, because they are relying entirely on debt. So what is your suggestion, whether we should go for investing in companies which are rich in debt, or whether we should go for companies which are rich in liquidity?
Do you believe in Ayurveda?
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
So in Ayurveda, they give you mercury as a medicine. The science teaches us that mercury is poison. But our Ayurveda says that mercury can also be used as a medicine. Do you love eating pizza?
Yeah, sure.
If you only eat pizza, what will happen to you? Most probably you will have cholesterol, blood pressure, diabetes, and your journey upstairs will be much faster.
So your suggestion is it should be mix of both?
So you have to do what you can absorb. Zero debt also could be bad, and 100% debt also could be bad.
It's ideal, sir. What is the ideal proportion?
See, you can eat one pizza every day and survive. I may eat only one pizza in a month and survive. And someone might be able to eat one pizza in a year and survive. So each one's body is totally different.
So our risk appetite, you mean to say?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Perfect. The last question, anyone? I think the president just prompted me a question. Which industry में invest करना चाहिए? Sorry? From an expansion perspective, see here we have a mix of people. In fact, I'd like to correct you. You mentioned we are only in hotels, hospitality. Yeah. So we started off, Shetty's matlab, fighter Shetty was there in the movies, right? So log डरते थे. उसके बाद fame we got from the hotel and hospitality industry. Then you saw the Shettys gradually moving into movies, the Bollywood, your professional, the best of chartered accountant, best of advocates. You see them excelling in industries, be it chemical, be it plastic, be it electronics, the best of doctors. We've been, giving the talent across the globe. That's why President said we're opening up office in UK and US. It's not just here. They just migrated across and they contributed to wherever they've been. That's the talent of the Shettys. So that's the entrepreneur, the warriors, or the agriculturist. They came down to Bombay, right? Not having much. They studied in the night schools, right? And they have grown. And they have grown in city like Mumbai, very, very competitive, right? So that's the story of the Shettys, So a big round of applause to the Shettys, So I would like to thank you, sir. It's always been a pleasure, very stimulating, very simple language, at the layman's language, and we feel like, yes, India has achieved and arrived, Thank you so much. So may I request our president to come on the dais, our vice president to come on the dais. May I request Prasad to hand over a small memento as a token of appreciation to Nilesh Bhai. Prasad is our treasurer. Prasad. So thank you, sir. Thank you, Nilesh Bhai. So I'm sure everyone enjoyed this session. That was the first session. There's a beginning, there's a trailer. We have more in store. So we need to acknowledge here some senior dignitaries. Hello. Yeah, we need to acknowledge the presence of senior most dignitaries in the Bunts. Our president, Chandra Sanda, is here. A big round of applause. And also to the vice president, Ratnakar Munkurji. Namaskara. In fact, IBCCI is an offshoot from a parent body. That's a Bunts Sangha. So I would like to request our captain of Bunts Sangha to come on stage and say a few words of encouragement for all the members. One of the point which Nilesh Bhai did share, about hospitality industry, IPOs. I think that's where the Bunts Sangha and IBCCI can, talk to each other, create a platform to see how we can take the hospitality industry to the next level. And that's the beauty of this platform of building trade and commerce. So may I request Chandra Sanda, please, request you to say a few words.
Good evening. to all dynamic and enthusiastic business stalwarts of Bunts community. Matarela Namaskara. Indian Bunts Chamber of Commerce and Industry is a very important and essential vertical of Bunts community. It is a body of Bunts entrepreneurs from various business segments that come together, discuss and deliberate business issues, challenges, the impossible dreams and come out with multiple solutions to overcome the present time business challenges. This is how they have established, nurtured, sustained and growth as successful entrepreneurs and business owners across the fields. I am indeed happy to see that this body is constantly striving towards addressing common issues, exchanging thoughts and ideas, sharing experiences, whether good or bad, and thus creating a platform for collective representation of all business owners and buzzing entrepreneurs. We are privileged to have Mr. Nilesh, Managing Director of Kotak AMC, and Mr. Mahesh Singhi, Founder and MD of Singhi Advisors amongst us, as eminent speakers and presenters to share their enriched experience. As the President of Bunts Sangha Mumbai, I thank both the speakers for their presence and valuable guidance. The topics selected as Outlook on Indian economy and equity markets and building business for uninterrupted growth are both brilliant topics and extremely relevant in the present context. To the young and aspiring entrepreneurs attending this summit, I would like to say that before you think of going to startup, know everything about it. All our degrees and qualifications are really important to know the theories behind business, but practical hands-on experience through learning by being the field is very important. And while doing so, we must be hardworking, sincere, polite, humble and grounded. Then you see the change in your personal outlook that will definitely change the outlook of your business that you are interested in. To the stalwarts in the business field, I would like to say that your guidance and hand-holding is indeed needed to the aspiring generation of the entrepreneurs. You have been successful in your endeavors of business and now is the time to prepare and create successors from the young generation. Then only in true sense we will be able to return to our community and our people around us. This will be the true contribution from our side to the society in particular and country at large. With this note, I thank the President Mr. K.C. Shetty and office bearers of Indian Bunts Chamber of Commerce and Industry to having invited me to the Knowledge Summit. I wish the IBCCI all good luck to continue their great endeavors. Thank you.
One minute. May I request Bharatana to come on the dais to hand over a small memento to our President, Chandrasana, President of Bunts Sangha. So thanks for your time, Chandrasana. We look forward to So, Chandrasana, we look forward to, like what you said, see how we can closely work together to make this platform to create more startups in the hospitality industry and all. We request time of all the office bearers to sit together and see how we can create a kind of white paper which will help create many more Bunt enterprises larger. Thank you, Chandrasana. Okay, friends. Now we on to the second half. We have one more exciting speaker with us. The gentleman is Mahesh Singhi. He's also called as Mahesh Deal Singhi. Why he's called as a Deal Singhi? As in he helps facilitate.
The first thing which comes in your mind when you see Shetty, powerful, energetic, ambitious, but very settled. पता नहीं चलेगा वो कहाँ पे है, but they are everywhere. So thank you everyone. The topic which has been given to me or which I have chosen to take is there's a little of business in everyone's life. And when we touch upon the life of a businessman, they always, when we see from outside, they are always very, look very much in pressure, anxieties, tension. But when you look say inside, they are always a challenge taker. They are always a risk taker. So the theme of our business discussion is building businesses, go up or go out. I think I'll just take this. When I came to Bombay, I was a young engineer of 22 and a half years of age. I lost my job in Kanpur when I was working with LML Vespa. So this was my first and the last job, and I realized that when market and the people expect something to do and you are not able to catch up, you only two things: feel bad about yourself or feel challenged. When you feel bad about yourself, that puts you down. When you feel challenged, that converts into a positive action. Now, when you have a positive action, you try and strive to work something hard and try to uncover your negative areas or the weakness and work around that. So with that in mind, when I was engineer, almost lost my job and was not happy in what I was doing, I was lucky enough to come to City of Dream, which is Mumbai, in '89. And when you come from a middle class background and no family background of money, or when your studies are very difficult to even fund, you'll always have some dream. So when you come with the dreams with no resources to fill the dreams, you start dreaming for others and fulfill your dreams through others' ambition. And that's how I came to the world of a consulting. And that's how the Singhi Advisors, or Singhi and Associate that time was known, took birth. So '89 when I came to Mumbai, this is a right city to be in for an entrepreneur. I started my journey as a project consultant, and with a one-man army for the next 4 years, the only theme was that wherever there is a problem for a businessman or first-time entrepreneur, we should be able to assist them and help them to go to the next level or set up factories for them, which they would always aspire to be. Last 32 years time, the journey has been very, very challenging, interesting. At times, do or die. At times, close your shop and go back to your home. But once you are in a mindset to do something, not to prove to the outside world, but to yourself that you are here and you are going to be here, you try and push your inner self to the next level. And that is only possible where every... Can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah. So every time when you try and hit some roadblock, you have two options: leave that ground, change the path, or wait, break the walls, go ahead. So coming back to a point of discussion, as Singhi, we are India's largest mid-market M&A firm with a team of about 45 in India, and globally we are 350 professional team through a part of network member. We are a key stakeholder called Mergers Alliance. Done about 1,000 transactions across 18 sectors, 20 countries, and it goes on. Coming to a part of discussion, entrepreneurship. When we see a business, when we see an industry, when we see any kind of a businessman, we feel that, oh, this big. But actually speaking, India is a land of entrepreneur. Even a farmer, even a chai wala, even a pan wala is an entrepreneur, because what is entrepreneurship? Taking a calculated risk today for a better future tomorrow. So when even a chai wala or a bidi wala buys something in advance, in anticipation that they'll sell at a profit to someone, they are taking that risk. And that risk allows them to live for the future. So that is my favorite line is, India is a land of entrepreneur. And when we take a risk in the business, we always get reward, sometime near future, sometime later future. I think I have some problem in here. I'll go with this only. Keep it here only so that I can move. So business is what? Business is your ability to take constant risk, not on a once in a year or once in a lifetime. Optimism doesn't mean that you become non-calculative. It doesn't mean that you take any blind risk situation. So one starts a business who has something to risk because you can risk only when you have something, or the one who has nothing to lose. Both the manner, your risk carrying capacity is for the future, decided today. As Srinath rightly said, that my favorite line is risk is a ishq, which is a new sentence in a movie on Harshad Mehta. But the risk cannot be blind. The risk has to be calculated, measured calculation on an incremental basis. Now, building a business, a successful business is not only running what you have built, but also your ability to scale up on an everyday basis. As we say, now when we say we want to build something, we have to also destruct something every day in us. A classic example, when you want to build a building, you have to first dig out. That means you have to destruct your current structure, demolish, go down, build a foundation and build a building. And that also happens in a business, that you have to destruct your part of business every day, little. At the end of the cycle, you also are going to construct something on everyday basis. So the business is nothing but your destruction every day to construct every day. Now what you destruct, it is your game. When you do a planned destruction, you also do a planned construction. So a planned destruction every day is a planned construction every day, and that's how incremental risk every day become a big reward at the end of the cycle. So with that, I go to the same thing. Now, business is what? It's like running on a treadmill. If you stop running on the treadmill, you fall out. Just to be in the same place, you have to keep running, keep walking, keep doing something. So in that business life, the day you said that you're immersed and this enough is enough and now I don't want to run, then don't stop, because the moment you stop, you will fall. So keep running. If you're not able to run it, keep the platform to others. Others run and you come out of it. That's the reason we say there is no scope for a stagnation in a business. If you are stagnated, you'll perish. How do you make sure that you don't stagnate? We don't know in a running business that when we are stopping, when we are running, because in a running business, we are just living for the day. Go in the morning, come back in the night, the day is busy. We didn't know what we had done, but we are busy. Because we stop analyzing ourselves inside out, we stop getting challenge inside, we stop getting a measured way of finding ourselves, that where do we stand in the world market or the local market or amongst the peer. So in this business, a typical trait of a business person in India is, first, taken as given. You will run something which has been given to you. Taken and given is the easiest way to run a business, because okay, मेरे पापा ने ऐसा किया था, so I'll also do the same way. My friend has done same way, I'll also do the same way. So taken and given is a business, but it doesn't last long, because you just run an enterprise, but you'll not know where I'm going to head. You are left to the God or left to the competition. The traditional mindset. What is the traditional mindset? I'll do things exactly what has been done. But we forget that even traditions change with generations. What was relevant last generation will not be relevant the next generation. Tradition, when they change because of a natural need of the market, society, economy. So in that traditional mindset, if you do nothing, again, you will fall somewhere. Inflexibility, resistance to change. What is inflexibility? Again the same thing, because there is only one way of doing things. We'll stop changing our path. Will become inflexible. At some one time, the rigid glass will break. A flexible rope doesn't break. It gives a correct direction. Another traits of Indian business is that debt chasing people. They will always believe that my growth is measured by only revenue increase. And that is going to be possible only by borrowing, only by creating the asset and then doing turnover. We forget that the business is for the purpose of not only making profit, but also by creating economic values based on the profit, because profit is today, profit may not be tomorrow. We always call it a profit loss account. We never say it's a profit only account. So profit and loss are part of the business. So profit and losses are So profit and losses are always part of the business. You cannot dissociate profit and loss, asset and liability. Both will come together. Night and day will come together. Black and white will come together. Good and bad go together. Similar, profit and loss will come together. Neither we are supposed to get worried with the profit losses, nor we should be super excited with only profit, because the path for a future profit is not permanent. You have to keep changing your path so that you are constantly relevant in the given market. The other thing in the market place in a typical Indian business is that we forget to analyze our business not based on only how much turnover we have done, not based on how much loan we have taken a profit. We stop measuring the business based on your economic value added and your return on capital. Now return on capital is just not an balance sheet number कि मैंने इतना पैसा लगाया मुझे इतना मिला. The return on capital is always measured based on my economic risk, how much investment, how much replacement cost, and in that, if my returns are not higher than my input cost, which in a traditional means is a borrowing cost, then I lose capital. So that economic value added and return on capital employed and return on time invested together only can analyze a business correctly, that whether I'm going to the right path or I'm going to get stagnated somewhere future time. The other traits in the business is they get into the action only when it's too late or when only they are hit the wall. Like the last moment I'm doing a business and then my customer stop buying from me. And I'm just hanky-dory and going here and there why my customer is not buying, or they just come and revise my price structure and I have no option left but to keep supplying. Or there's a market which doesn't create a demand for my product. All these things are actually a result of not anticipating a future risk in the business. If we anticipate a risk, then we always create a standby arrangement in the business so that you are able to take those contingency in plan when you decide a business structure. And that's where we say that we should not get into an action only when we hit the wall. Anticipate the problem, understand the future risk, create an organization ready for taking any kind of a business shocks. And the business shocks are going to come. We are not going to be in a business where shocks will not come. But anticipating different kind of shocks when you create an organization, you always are ready, prepared, and you can absorb those shocks in time rather than it's too late. Then we always believe that if today is good, tomorrow is always going to be good. In a COVID period, many companies just came and said they went into hand sanitation market. Many companies just changed from their garmenting line to making masks or making non-woven fabric-based appliances, anticipating that this will go on. And then reckless order of machine, reckless supply, this is anticipating that the market will go on. Forgetting that these are timed opportunities. These are one-off opportunities which will not be lasting long. And once we get a mindset to invest in the market, which are unpredictable, we are bound to make some mistakes because the market has a tendency to change. So anticipation of a change in the market is a primary objective for a businessman, because if you do not anticipate the worst case and the good case, between the two, the business and organization always remain and survive. So in that situation, we cannot ignore changes in the market. The last line again we say that if you stagnate, the market will not rise. As Nilesh Bhai, my earlier speaker, said that India is rising. The world is shrinking, India is rising. That means India is expected to grow. Does this mean that every company, every person in India will grow? No. Some will grow faster, some will not grow, some will degrow. That means it's not a market which will allow you to grow. Market is an open place. At times you have to expand the market to remain relevant and competitive to be able to grow against others. It's not a zero-sum game that, okay, my profit is others' loss only. At times, if the markets are not there, you create a situation where your market expands by creating more customers, more market, new innovation, these things. And in that situation, whether it's India or whether it's China or it's Germany, we say, each market, when they change, they create a new opportunity. They want me to stagnate. Yeah. The next is, in the business, as we say in our body, if you want to remain fit for next 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, you cannot remain fit if you do not know your body well enough. You cannot remain fit and you cannot know your body if you do not diagnose at the right time. When you go to a doctor, he'll not just give you medicine, he'll ask you, okay, get it diagnosed, what is the problem area? Similar manner, in a business, if you are, whether you're in a hotel industry or restaurant industry or chemical sector or garment or any sector, we have a responsibility to make sure that we understand our business well. And when we say our business, that means knowing the good part of our business and the bad part of business. Knowing the good part of your competitors, knowing the bad part of your competitors. And the delta of gap between your good and others bad and your bad and others good is exactly your market positioning changes. And once you find a correct path to lead into others gap and your opportunity, creates a betterment of a business. In a way, this is all nothing but a diagnosing your business correctly. And if you know your business well, like your body, you know how much to eat, when to sleep, when to get up. Similar manner, in a business, when your diagnosis is correct, you are able to take a corrective path much before you are hitting a roadblock. Now, what is diagnosis? You can assess your core activities. Now, your core can be non-core to others. I'm good at certain things, others are good at certain things. Your core cannot be core to others. So you need to know you, your character, your own nature, your ambitions, your organization, your risk carrying capacity. Once you know you and your organization well, you know that this is my core, and which is the activities which are non-core are activities which will remain with you but will keep disturbing you. So know the difference between core and non-core. Evaluate your business efficiency. When we say business efficiency, what does it mean? In a simple terms, if something goes in some process, whether it's a machine, business, material, whatever, it has to add some value. And the result of output has to be better than input. If you are in a business of say steel making, if you put in iron ore and power and these things, your efficiency every level is good. The output with a good quality will create a better value for the business. If you are in education and if your input score is good to get admission in a good college, your output will always be good. You go to IIT, there is a big filtration, you will have a very less chance to get entrance in the college. But once your filter is good and input is good, output by design or by chance will be better. So your ability to evaluate a business of what goes in the business, all the tools of the business, whether it's a manpower, it's a capital, it's a resources or a management skill, your location or your competitiveness, everything is an input to the business. What comes output? Output has to be added in an economic value added, because each activity in the factory or the service sector or any business has to add some economic value to whatever goes inside. So in that measurement, if you can review your business efficiencies every level, then you know at the end of the cycle you will be better off than others. Now case in example, I am making 100 crore sales. My input cost of material is 60 rupees. My value addition become 40 rupees. In that, 20 rupees is my cost of operations, whether it's interest cost or a salary cost or this, and 20 rupees I made money, I made 20 rupees profit. So I'll say, okay, my economic value added is 40%, my profit value added is 20%. I made 20% margin. Now there's some another companies who also say 100 rupees sales, 100 crore sales. I have my input cost and gap between input and output is 60 rupees. That means my material cost is 40 rupees, my selling price is 100 rupees, but my expenses are 40 rupees, I still make 20 rupees profit only. Can I say that both businesses are same valuable? Answer is no. Because one company is making 20 rupees profit, other company is also making 20 rupees profit. One company adding value added of 60 rupees, other is adding 40 rupees. That means your ability to add more value added, give a extra delta room to spend more on a business resources brand or anything which allow you to stand. And it is just not ability to sell cheap. It is not just ability to produce cheap. It's your ability to expand your delta between input to output at every level. And that delta will allow you to sustain. And at the same time, a third analogy, another company is coming with the same 100 rupees sales. They are spending, material cost is 40 rupees, but spending 80 rupees to sustain, but they are growing 100% every year. Maybe that company is better than the first company because 3 years, 5 years down the line, their value addition will be much higher than the two companies. And once they start cutting their cost, the net value addition will be very, very high and they will always be ahead of others. Now, case in example, if an Apple can get it manufactured at XYZ cost and they can sell 5 times the value of input, the rest of the money, whether they use for branding, perception, premiumization, whatever, the day they want to expand the market, they will always have a market which are very premium, and that delta allow them to grow faster in terms of profit and the return on the capital employed. So they will always be more valuable than companies whose net value addition in the business processes is lower. So never get confused between the profit margin and the net value addition. Always try and see what is my input. In that input, how much value added at each stage, whether the material level, at my skill level, at my production cost level, or the marketing level, packaging level, and your branding level. Each has a role to play and each is a business by itself. You can't dissociate my purchase ability, my selling abilities, my ability to buy cheap or my ability to sell more expensive. Each is a role to play and each has to be measured in its own manner, because that's where we know your business well, that this is my strength area, this is my weak area. Now, customer and market analysis. Your business is your ability to find a customer, because there is no customer, there is no business. Customer, we call it in a normal language, the customer is a god. But when a business practicality, we can't make customer as a god. The servicing a commitment, servicing a customer is a godlike action, it's like a puja. But in that servicing, you can't make customer as a god, because the day you become a customer as a god, they will not allow you to earn, because their expectation will never allow you to make money, because they will want everything at a price at which you can't make money. So in that, your customer assessment or market assessment is important, because in the given market, if one company can sell the same customers at a price higher than you, so it is not your, this is not their customer service, it's your ability to find a customer who accepts you as a premium player. And in that premiumization, they are able to create a value for the product, which in the mind of a customer is very valuable. So for that to happen, we have to believe that we are a little differentiated than the marketplace. And in that marketplace, if you are able to place yourself better in place of a customer premium, then you always will be ahead of others. So it's important to know your customers and market and do analysis together. The SWOT is a standard tool. You have to know your strength, you have to know your weakness, you have to know your opportunity, and you have to know the threat also. The marketing processes, again, it's important to know what are the tools you are analyzing your market. When are you use tooling? Marketing is what? One is servicing a market is not a marketing. Market is a create a market for you also, because if you create a market for you, you also create a new set of customers. So analysis of market process is equally important. Then your succession planning. Succession doesn't mean necessarily a generation to generation. Succession also means that in your organization, a CFO to the next CFO, a CEO to the next CEO, a production head to the next production head. Each stage, succession is an important part of your business survival. Again, select one word. Oh, yeah. Now, that's a very important aspect of your business. As I said, in a body, you always diagnose it to gap assess. Like in a business, you can become strong only when you are able to find gaps in your business. Now, generally, we end up finding an end result that, oh, this company is making losses, so this company is bad. This company defaulted, so it is a bad, or they swindle money. We only see the end result, that company is making profit or company is making loss. It's a good company, bad. That doesn't really happen. Your ability to analyze business starts right from the ownership level, because business is run by entrepreneurs or the risk taker or the shareholders or whoever you say is a business person. So unless you are able to analyze yourself or your competitors or your peers in the parameter of a three principle: ownership level, business level, and financial level, the first starting point of a confusion in a business start at the ownership level. In this ownership level, there are gaps. How can we measure it? There are three partners. One partner is aggressive, ambitious, risk taker. Other partner is moderate, either bhi udhar bhi. And the third partner is absolutely safe, risk taker, and mujhe kya karna hai? It will go on. That means there is a gap at the shareholding level. And shareholders are supposed to take risk in the business, because their risk ability will allow a fate of the business. So if that gap is understood internally or externally, that who are the people who are willing to take the path of a business together by a calculated risk every point in time. That gap is not understood, you will not know what the gap in the business is going to come. Now, case in example, there is a company in the market, Company A and Company B. Company A is expanding based on the expected growth in the market. Company B is very comfortable that I'm good, I'm making money, and I'm not expanding in an expanding market. So that time we will not know the gap in the market, but the risk of the shareholders not being taken at the correct time, 5 years down the line, the company which has not expanded in a growing market will be fallen flat, because the other company would have moved much ahead of that. And that is not happening because of the market. That has happened because the shareholders have stopped taking those calculated risks in the changing market. The other way around is also good. The markets are flat, markets are shrinking, and just because I got loan, I expanded my capacity like a bhed chal, which happened to many players in the textile sector or garment or any traditional industry. He's expanding, I should also expand. In the process, you create an over risk in the business. So the measurement of a risk carrying capacity at the shareholders will allow you to also measure how the business is going to go to the next level, and that whether it's your business or your competitors, you can place your bets on the business in a corrective manner, in the timely manner. This gap could be, in the shareholders gap could be succession issue. I have no succession, so why should I take risk? I'm doing it what I'm doing. Then no. You cannot have a succession issue only of the family. If you find a succession as a management, then the shareholders are separate and business are separate. Otherwise, Tatas and the Birlas would not have been lasting for generation. Or maybe there's a company like Bosch, who is 180 years old companies, maybe 19th generation, they still are largest auto component company in the world. It's not because of a succession. Their planning of succession is correct, and they hand over the mantle to a rule-based organization. And that rule-based organization doesn't need a succession only within the family member. Succession is your ability to find a next successor while you are alive, whether in a family or within a professional, or through right kind of alignment, through right kind of partnership. So succession at every stage is a backup plan for your organization. So if that succession issues, if the shareholders is not understood, the business gap will not be understood. Inter-shareholder issues I've already discussed. The different speed and the different thinking pattern between the shareholders will always create a gap. So it's not corrected upfront, 5 years down the line, the business will suffer. Fatigue is another factor by which business people stop growing. Because enough fatigue, why should I take risk? I'm comfortable. And the fatigue start not only reflecting on the owning value, it also reflects on the business, because the owner's fatigue create a fatigue in the business, the environment become negative, people stop taking the risk, and they're very comfortable earning salary and living their life. No, We cannot become comfortable in the business. We have to be a little uncomfortable every time in the business. Uncomfortable doesn't mean that we are worried. Uncomfortable means a little extra care every day so that we don't become comfortable, so that the business can become comfortable. The need of, at times, shareholders do not want to give attention to a business because they have other businesses, multiple businesses. That time you should not get confused. Be sure that this is a business you like, or be sure that a business you don't like. If you don't like it, come out of it or give it to someone. But there is no role of a shareholders to get confused between the multi businesses. All babies are good. A parent will have multiple babies. They are not confused which baby. At times one baby get more attention, at times other baby get attention. Now when you have a gaps in the shareholding, which eventually creates a gap in the business. The business gap could be because of a product gap. I have some range of product which was good 10 years back, 5 years back. But today the product offering is not good enough with a changing market. So that actually doesn't kill your today, it will kill your future. Suppose I am a supplier to Maruti Auto, it looks good. But the next question, am I supplying to Maruti 800, Alto, or a WagonR, or any of these? And that will decide my fate. If my product category is expanding with the customers, if they expand, I'll expand. So it is important to also understand my gaps in the product, each category. Just being one product doesn't make difference. Which product category to which customer? If that journey is not understood, will fall flat somewhere. Technology gap is a very important aspect in a business. Technology is just not an IT or such technology. Everything is a technology. The way of doing business, the way of marketing, the way of connecting with the customers, everything is a technology. If there are changes in the market, we have to capture this faster than others, because we don't capture that, we become history. In a COVID period, many companies did not understand the power of e-commerce or the ability to service a customer's home. Or maybe 20 years back when the pharma retail sector was growing, and the influence of organized retail in pharma selling or medical stores came, the domestic player of kirana stores and the medical stores had no option but to service customer to their home, and that survived them. And that survived them for a simple reason, because they realized that they can't match up with the capital power of organized player to reach the customers to the home. Another classic example in this category is when you think of a Bisleri water. When Coca-Cola entered India, they were very sure that it's a Coca-Cola which they exited and wanted to enter back again in India. And by that time, Pepsi was already entrenched in India. Coca-Cola was always more powerful, more organized comparatively worldwide. But in India, Coca-Cola exited forcefully and they wanted to re-enter. By that time, Thumbs Up was already there at the rest of the beverage. We had not seen Coca-Cola and other things. The Chauhans and the people thought that should we fight with Coca with the madness of a capital, because they can afford to lose for next 20 years time, but they will have to make a base. Or find a better path. They leave the turf to others and find your own turf. So they did one thing, okay, they sold at the highest possible price to Coca-Cola at that time. Now Coca-Cola did not acquire Thumbs Up for their profit. They wanted to acquire to eliminate them or kill them so that they don't get a competition in the market tomorrow. At the same time, the Chauhan family, they realized there is no point running after some business which tomorrow is a bigger risk. A risk of unknown or risk of a madness. Better to sell. Okay. By the time Bisleri was already there. So what they did? They used the knowledge of a beverage and the distribution and the bottling capabilities to migrate to a new level of aggressive business, which is Bisleri. And they become a leader in the market in water selling. And in India, if you say that water is being sold, you will laugh at it. But they were the one who created a water as a business in India. But that was not the story which ended. When they expanded, the blue color was a color of a water, and every color of water, whether it's a Manakchand or whoever will come in the market, they will come a blue color, standard sky blue color, and the water is Lexus. It came a time where water became a commodity. At the same time, both Coca-Cola and Pepsi re-entered the water business because it's just extension of the cold chain and the distribution network to sell more. again the next challenge come. The change of the wind in the market was not selling water, because you have to also make profit. And when you are in the business to sell profit, you cannot afford to have a competition which is much below you or much above you. The same question come: identity crisis, business model, change of business. How do I attack it? So first thing Bisleri did, they changed the color from blue to peacock blue so that they differentiate. How do I differentiate from others? You can't change others, then you change yourself. But that was not all. Together with that, 3 years before that, they realized that selling water will not be profitable. Selling profitable is just supplying water to the small store. This is cold facing customer so that they get water. So the water selling become a water supply business, and that's how they change the model. Upfront investment was 180 crore rupees or so to create molds and the last 20 liters and this bucket, and with a dispensing machine. And suddenly they spread out to all offices first. And they become from a water seller to water supplier. Now, the 80% of the profit is made by 30% of the revenue. And they are cannot be removed, because once you are in the office, once you are in the home, and once your machine is there, selling water is more difficult than supplying water. They become water supplier. So the changing of business model with the constant change in the market is so important, without leaving your main turf, that water is water, selling through bottle or selling through supply. They found it's much economical, and this reason they are still surviving, and they are not going to leave this area. If this model change, they'll come in some other business model. So your business is your ability to understand the change in the market and change accordingly. Same way where your resource gaps come, your resource, whether it's oil and gas or a coal or any industry will have some resource. If the resource changes, because of market forces, you can't be stagnant. You also have to find the gap in your resource planning. A steel company cannot survive without a iron ore. However, whether you import, whether you dig outly or have a mining contracts, you have a captive mine or whichever way, you have to find your resource. At times you buy, at times you contract, at times you just take small equity in the resource company to make sure that your continuous supply is available. So resource protected in your business gives you protection in a business at a level at which you can depend for your future. The gap in the capacity, equally important, because it's not market which will decide your capacity. It is your demand of the product which decide the capacity you create. And if the capacity supply is higher than the market demand, you tend to reduce your price and you make losses. But if your capacity is always neck to neck based on the market anticipation, you will plan your customer and product in a manner at which you are able to sell profitably. So understand the market capacity is equally important, because it's just not what you make, it's the overall capacity in the market and your ability to service your customer. The return mismatch is equally important for a maybe now it is not relevant because European rate of interest has increased, but a company in Europe would have a cost of borrowing at 2%. They would have been happy with a 6% return on capital, because I borrowed 2%, made business, supplied product, made 6%, 8% margin, but my return on capital is say 10%. I'm putting 2% input and getting 10% output. I'm making 5 times more returns. It looks only 10% return, but actually my return is 5 times more holder. Whereas in India, my input cost, suppose borrowing cost is 9%, and I'm making 12% return, I'll be squeezed out, because that 12% to me is just 20% valuation, but at the same time my competitors may be global companies, so input cost is only 2% and return is 10%. For them, they'll squeeze it out because the input cost is less and output expectations also less. So you need to know your relative cost of input. Input could be your material, input could be your talent, which is software sector, your salary cost. Input could be your capital, it could be your borrowing. All input has to be measured in a manner of a relativity in the market which you try to address. So that's your return mismatch. And then core and non-core is always a fight for a businessman, but what is core and what is not core? For a manufacturing company, say in an auto component or an auto sector, or for a hotel sector or restaurant sector, I might have owning my property is a core. But for Hayat,
Not owning a property is my core, my branding exercise is my core. So each core differentiate between company to company and a business to business. So your core is something which you can manage well. Your core is something which you can nurture within your skill, your strength. So if you know your strength and weakness, you'll try to have some core which you have a constant advantage of yours versus others. Now what is this constant advantage? The constant advantage is one which is inbuilt in you, whether you because of a skill, because of a geography, like Nilesh Bhai said earlier that Morbi, there was a Thar desert and there was a availability of a gas and availability of a sand, and that created a starting point and close to the port or the close to the market. So all these are a core as a strength or a constant advantage of yours versus other. If you are in IT sector in Bangalore and have a talent factory which is generating engineers years after years and at a cost which is 1/4 of the cost of a US market, have a constant advantage of having talent at a cost compared to the global market. So you'll make money. So unless you know your core strength by way of a key strength which is a differentiator, you will not be able to find a relative market competitiveness. So all these two gaps of a shareholders and business will eventually create some gap in the financial planning. What is the financial planning? If your risk of the shareholders is high, uncalculated, that will create a risk in the business cycle, your lower investment, unplanned capacities, which result into high leverage. High leverage is not a leverage which is starting point. High leverage is a result of your misplanning in the beginning, which at the end of the cycle looks like high leverage. Your returns are high, then high leverage is not high leverage because return payback period will be faster. Your high leverage become low leverage tomorrow. So high leverage is not a problem. High leverage is a result of the misplanning at the shareholder level or the business gap. Your stretch creditors, you end up buying more on credit and supplying to the market, assuming that my business is going on, but your stretch creditors will always be more expensive and you will not even know when you stop supplying, your pricing become expensive. So stretch creditors by itself is not a stretch. Stretch is something where market is not able to feed you at a price at which you can naturally buy. Now for that example, Levers has been a very cash flowing company, ITC has been very cash profitable companies, and they sell on cash. That doesn't mean they buy on cash, they buy on credit. Because market is naturally supplying to them on a credit because of their credibility. So stretch credit is not they're getting things on a credit. Stretch is if market is not offering terms normally in a given manner, anything more than that is stretch, so you know what is the level at which the market is able to supply it to you. So that analysis is so important, that whether my creditors are stretched or not. If they are stretched, someday they will leave you and go to others. So at a time at which their balance sheet and their profit loss account is balanced with your business plan, they also remain alive and you also remain alive. That's a delta at which your business can plan for a better growth tomorrow. Low return is, again we discussed, is a relative cost. My input return, my input cost of capital, whether it's a borrowing capital or a borrowed capital, both are input. If my returns are not higher than that, yeah. So this is, so the periodic diagnosis is what we discuss. So that again, when you in a business, everything look a big business, try to break your business problems into multiple small problems. You can't attend all problems together. Break into multiple problems, multiple small problems and hit them one by one. Now, when you say disruption comes from unexpected corner, underdogs don't give you time. The market will not give you time. So just try to understand that, are you able to take near-term advantage? Is your business ready for interruption? Do we know the weakest link of a business? Do we know who will be the main competitors in the time to come? Can M&A accelerate your business objective? When we say M&A is nothing but your advancement of a business, from tomorrow to today. And that's the analogy, build versus buy always works. Should I buy or should I build? When others are there to build and not able to run it better, it's better to acquire and advance your cycle. At times you are not able to build because it's not available, then you better build. But if the assets are available, businesses are available, which are being not run well, better to hunt for them, because at least you can better them than what the other owners had not been able to do. Now, all businesses needs a rationality. The rationality, as we discussed, it could be strategic rational, whether it's a diversity of product or a market or a geographical or whatever. Why the business are sold or purchased? It's a question of, if we are not able to grow business to a level at which my returns are better than my cost, then I better come out of the business. Maybe somebody else at the same time has a return expectation lower than you. So whether you buy business or sold business or a partner business, it should bring more value to everyone. That's we have discussed already. In the last, like we can always discuss, first check your home turf, optimize your company's evaluation, examine the market. Professor?
The last slide, the 3 principles of business. When you need to know your business, first try to understand the relative growth. Relative growth is not what I am doing. If the market is growing by 5%, mine growing 10%, others growing 2%. So I always have advantage of growing faster than my competitor. So my ability to reinvest in the market will be higher than my competitors. But if I do reverse, I am growing lower than the market, I'll be left out. So it's not that I can grow beyond the market, but within the available market, who takes the incremental market share from that size is the one who will be real winner. So the relative growth analysis is important in a business. Then return on capital employed. If my input cost generates high return, that extra return allows me to take extra risk in the business. So if someone is making 20% return on the business, on my capital employed, others making 40%. So the 20% return company can only pay back the loan taken for 5 years time, because 20% return means payback in 5 years time. But on the same asset, on the same market, if the competitors comes and make 40% return, they'll pay back the same loan in 3 years time. That means they will have extra cushion always available against others. So your ability to generate high return on your investment by charging more or cost wise lower or a bigger share will always allow you to grow faster than others. And continuous competitive advantage has to be there. As we discuss, each business, person, organization or the market need to be differentiated by the competitive advantage. And that has to be measurable situation. That is not done, then let the business be run by someone else. You grow or you exit. So this is just about my conversation would not have been the best basis, maybe because of Mike or maybe my accent being there. But at that time, what I wanted to convey here, as a person from a middle class background to be servicing mid-market companies to large multi-billion companies, one thing is always constant for a business person is never to get worried in what you do. It's always important to have a measured path ahead, so that without having impacted what others do or what others think, you do what you like the most, but do in a manner which is calculative, which is well measured, and risk taken on an everyday basis. You cannot come overnight, I'll take risk tomorrow and I become businessman. No. It's a every day, every minute's job to better every day. And if you are able to do this, a smallest of the business can become very big. And the bigger of the business can fall out of the game. Like Bombay Dyeing was a company which was the largest player of pure disease. They became sick. And Reliance, who are competing them, are the one not to be discussed. So it's not good enough to be good today. It's also important to be constantly being good in a relative terms, year on year basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you so much for very, very insightful insights. I think the subject which you're covering is so very vast. I think we can continue, right? So, but because of paucity of time, right, we cannot continue. But we have got really very, very good insights about, because our members normally are from varied sectors. You have people from the industries, we have people from the hotel industries with different challenges. Like one of the question which came from one of the member, Mr. Shivanand Shetty, is, in the hotel industry, the first generation hotel industries have worked 6 in the morning till, 1 in the morning, and develop the hotel business. The second generation, right, is not, it's educated, foreign return, and they have a different idea. So there's a lot of clash between the first generation and second generation. I'm sure in your consultancy, succession planning, these comes, and how to handle that. So this is one of the questions which has come from the crowd.
Hello. So, as we discussed earlier, that succession planning in a business is important, whether the succession is within family or outside the family. Successor is not only blood relationship, it's your ability to hand over the reign of the activities, not only organization, but each activities, right from ownership to production to sourcing to marketing to the level next, so that you always create leaders within. Now, in that line of thinking, as he rightly asked that what if the next generation does not want to come in the business created by father? So first let us understand that business is not bad. The way to do business become good or bad. So a businessman, to be able to hand over, first they have to respect what they do. Because if they do not respect what they do, others will never respect. But you can respect yourself only when you are honest to yourself that is your business future ready. If your business is future ready, that means you are able to take a corrective path every now and then. That stagnation will not come, and then the next generation will always look at the parent that are my parents futuristic or not? Because when they come back to India or within college to a business, they also want to compare them versus the others. And there is always a jealousy factor in the mind of every business person, because business is run principally on the strength of fear and jealousy. There is no fear, there is no business, there is no jealousy, there is no growth. So fear and growth are part and parcel of the business. So if the next generation believes that it is that business which I saw when I was 10 years old and the same business I am seeing when I am 20 years old, then it is not the problem of a next generation, it is our problem. So if we are able to send the signals correct that yes, we are receptive to change and we want to grow it, because I'm sure we have enough ambitions available to excite the next generation that take the business to the next level. And for that to happen, you don't need a sudden planning that my son has come and my daughter has come, so they'll run it. Make it exciting enough. However, if they believe that the business cannot be taken to the next challenge, next level, so their problem, actually your problem also, because then you have to analyze, is my really business future ready or not? If the business is not future ready, then why I'm running the business? Then I should also sell and exit so that at least I give the capital to the next generation and say, now you take risk and do something. But that is the easiest path. The difficult path is actually not to have the situation come whereby your next generation is not wanting. And in that manner, if you can convert your business model from an asset-driven to skill-driven, that is an expandable model. As Nilesh Bhai rightly said that Amul would not have been Amul if the participatory goal of all the farmers together as a businessman do not have this. So every farmer in a cooperative is a business person. So if you can make this business, even if it's a restaurant or hotel, asset light, where you don't have a load of asset to carry every time, and then expand the skills from a central kitchen to supply chain system to whatever level which require a business to grow organically, naturally, then I don't think any business is a bad business. If that was the reason, Savarna Bhavan would not have been in America or in UK and everywhere would have been there. So same business can generate chain of value creation constantly if you are able to create a model which is expandable. You are not creating market. Food and restaurant and hotel is a very basic need of industry. When McDonald's can come in India or KFC can come in India and Subway can come in India and create a huge market value, that is not a market which is lacking. It's the ability to anticipate the changing market and standardize also. There is a small example like a Goli Vada Pav or whatever. Now, it's a easiest way to make vada. But the moment you convert this to business model, which can be franchise or a standardized and central kitchen supply, that become an expandable model. So what I believe has been a lacking in this industry, or a horse industry or restaurant sector or hotel sector, is not a business model, but ability to bring a standard processes, optimization, and your ability to grow without scaling up through asset model. If that is adopted, this is extremely expandable business, and I'm sure this is going to come. Otherwise, the chain of restaurants or chain of subways would not have been successful here. Standardization, that is number of minimum product. When you are selling, say, idli or vada or whoever you sell, or any standard product sale, you don't need many SKUs. You can't service every customer. So if those processes can come, then this is expandable, and that is possible only multiple people coming together, leave their ego behind, as rightly Nilesh Bhai said, forget the ego, come together, optimize, come together and create value as a togetherness. I hope this answers.
We have time for another one question. Anyone? Kishan? Because I remember Kishan around a year back talking about how, the Shettis, the Udupi Hotel, right, having a brand. You want to talk?
Good evening, friends. I think the same thing recalled, and I'm so excited. During the Corona time, our institution of Chamber of Commerce has hosted a webinar, and I conducted that as I think so, second one. Therein, I recommended to our Ravianna and Chandasana also, what today Nilesh Bhai has referred, the platform. And absolutely, what a great, fantastic presentation you made. And from the grassroots you have narrated. Probably many of the charters must have bored, but many of them at the backside also could get some insight of it. The most important tool which he narrated, and I have given that presentation where we have gone ahead. I think Srinath, Nishit and all our office bearers, Srinivas Shetty, we all gone ahead and thought of synchronizing with the community of the hotel. I put a forward details to Ravianna also, and then I spoke to you. We logged a platform called udupiswad.com. We registered that so that our team can join the wagon there. And I discussed with the Shankarana also. So, I'm with due respect to the industry, because equity market is there, Zomato is there, everybody must have taken some shares of it. I'm not detailing on that, what is the today's value of the Zomatos. But the guys who create a value for it is, at least in the city of Mumbai or city of Chennai or Mangalore or somewhere, our people. The platform we have narrated. I'm sure with synchronizing the community, the Matra Sangha in Mumbai, Matra Sangha everywhere, with the chamber incorporating, a great combination we can create. And today I'm proud to say that the guys on the back bench, we all have every areas been traded, known as only a hotel. No. There are the best chemical industries being made by us. We are the Shettis make hotel in the recipe. What is recipe is also chemistry. Our guys mix the blend of it and make it. What stops on an API to mix and to make a formulation with the excipients? I'm sure Bharatana is in the fragrance side. There are guys, youngsters like Pravir is there, or maybe Heramba is there. Many of the people are going to come in the industry. The diverse market is there, we are there. I'm sure Mr. Singhi has got a lot of pondering here. Your expertness will be a great use to us, and thanks for gracing this occasion and wonderful presentation. Thank you.
One second. Thanks, Mahesh, for a very stimulating insights. I would like to request our President and Vice President to come on the dais. Hello. Oh, yeah. May I request Kishanana? Where are you? Where's Kishan? Kishan, request you to hand over a small memento as appreciation for his time. And for a lot of you who don't know, he's Mr. Mahesh Singh is also our lot of Thank you. A lot of us don't know here. In fact, Kishan Anna is actually leading the initiative of Bunts Incubation Center, for which Mahesh Singh is one of our mentor to make a success of it. So, Singhi Saab, now we are creating the business lounge, and the next is to put some speed into our incubation center. That's a phenomenal idea. We have the support of the entire Bunts fraternity. A lot of people in the next generation wanting to become a job creator, and that's what we stand for. And I think your insight and help will be really required. Thank you so much for your time, Mahesh, once again.
You treat me as a part of your family, and I can assure you that to the extent possible, I'll not let you go down anytime. And I thank you, all of you, for being patient with me. Thank you.
Thank you. We have with us Mr. Deepak Shetty. I would like to just call him on the dais, a senior bureaucrat, former secretary in the DG Shipping. So I would request calling the president and the vice president. Small appreciation, sir. I'd attended one of your seminars that was, I don't know, around 18, 19 years back. That was a long time back. A few words from your end, Mr. Shetty.
Namaskara to everyone. I think this was a pleasant surprise. And normally you don't associate a career civil servant amidst businessmen because you're typically a square peg in a round hole. So I distinctly recall when I joined the Indian Revenue Service in the year 1980, that was an ecosystem where perhaps advertently or inadvertently we were mentored and trained to distrust the industry. There was a great sense of apprehension that the industry was out to, shortchange the government. I've seen it all in the 37 years that I spent in the civil service. From then, milestones being moved, the boundaries, the envelopes were pushed. Came 1991, a watershed year, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. And fast forward to 2016, at the end when I retired as Secretary to the Government of India and Director General of Shipping, that was an era where, post-2013, honestly, we were mandated to be on a consultative mode with the industry and the stakeholders. It was sort of enjoined on us that whenever we did a policy change, we had to get into a consultative mode, document that, put out draft policy papers in the website of our respective agencies, solicit feedback and input, incorporate that, justify where you disagreed, and then communicate to the, to the Prime Minister's office. I mean, I remember as DG Shipping doing those several rounds of consultations. So that's the trajectory which we have seen. I don't want to add my 2 cents or 2 bit of knowledge here. I'm not very fond of sort of dispensing gyan, but all I can say is that, if you look at some of the basic premises which you need to be mindful, I'll just touch upon that, and I want to elaborate because I'm sure, I think sumptuous food beckons you, and I don't want to stand before that. Good corporate governance, and I'm sure all of you in business subscribe to the proposition that you are here for the long haul. Clearly, you're looking at a sustainable business model, which is there to stay and grow exponentially, God willing. So I think a good corporate governance is what will need to underpin you. Then there is this, the new animal, so to speak, of environment, social and governance, ESG. And I don't want to elaborate that too much. And on governance, I'll just pivot on one key facet, which is, business integrity. That is so pivotal to whether you succeed or you fail. And trust me, I may just digress. I'm a senior advisor to an international organization which goes by the acronym of MACN, Maritime Anti-Corruption Network. This is subscribed by 179 of the largest shipping and logistics supply chain companies worldwide. So the primary philosophy is that the risk reputation, the perception of stakeholders, and mind you, this is an era not just of shareholders, you're looking at a larger community of stakeholders because you need to take them along with you. And so what we do is we propagate the message very clearly in terms of our outreach and messaging, contact programs, is that you're only as good today in business if you're not mindful of the risk. And one of the huge downside risks is good governance and anti-bribery and anti-corruption, which means business integrity very clearly. That brings me to the other aspect of risk management. It is so central to business in terms of identifying a risk well ahead and then mitigating the risk in the manner that you deem it most appropriate. This takes me to another paradigm of strategic thinking. You need to think through. It's not good enough to say it's chalta hai and then remain constant. Status quo is not just good enough for business any longer. In an integrated global environment, you need to strategize, and which means that you need to do a 360-degree scan of all that's happening around you, both domestically as well as internationally. Final 2 points. One is skill development. I think it is so critical to your trajectory that you need to upskill yourself on a constant basis. And when I say skilling, it means you need to unlearn, dislearn a whole lot of things, scrap what you probably knew a few years ago, build on that and take it forward. So these are just basic mantras. So, I'm sure this is not something, it's a huge gyan, but coming as I do from a civil service background, I just wanted to share this with you. I don't want to bore you too much, as I said, because typically, normally bureaucrats are frowned upon and they're treated as anathema to business. But trust me, I think we are in an era, we are well positioned today where the governance structures are imbued with an entirely different philosophy. And you would see that in the times to come going forward. And I completely subscribe to the two very distinguished speakers whose I think it was very enriching for me to hear them, that the time for India is here. And very clearly, the other point I wanted to add is, if you want to leverage the demographic dividend of India, which means the young generation, which is going to occupy that space, I think we are one of the very few countries, probably you can single out a country or two, where we have the demographic dividend of the working class. Typically you see elsewhere in the Western world, there is gerontocracy, as they say, the aged population, the strain on the social security. Whereas here, we are poised to capture the moment where in the next 20 to 30 years, you'll have the youth which will take the country forward. I think that's all that I wanted to say, but of course I can go on. Thank you so much, and it's an absolute delight and honor. It's a privilege to be here, and thank you for the attention. And wish you all the very best in all your business and personal endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepakanna. In that 4 minutes, what you talked, it was a lot of insights. I wish we had time. One thing which you mentioned is not to maintain a status quo and keep changing. I think that's where IBCCI has done. In the pre-COVID era, we used to meet every month for meetings. But in the post-COVID era, we got online. We didn't stay that, okay, nothing can happen. As a Chamber of Commerce, we decided we'll continue parting with knowledge and build the skill of our members through a lot of informative seminars like this. I think that's what we've been doing. We're also getting into a lot of innovations as a Chamber of Commerce with the incubation center, encouraging people, encouraging professionals like Mahesh Singhi who comes to support us on those. So thank you once again, Deepakanna. It was a pleasure. So we'd like you to be involved in our activities. We'd request you to support and guide us because of your knowledge on governance, corporate governance will really help us. We'd like to have a seminar with you one of these days. Thank you so much. We have right now a vote of thanks, but before that, our leader Chandra Sanna would like to share a few more insights in the next couple of minutes. Chandra Sanna, all yours.
If you allow, I'll speak in Tulu because my English is not good. So, Nigale Matala Namaskara. At the opportunity, Panda Nama Mata Bantar Vanji Javapatukulda, especially industry the stalwarts Matamula Nigul Materla. Deepakanna Civil Service Dagulla Uller. What is Bansanga? In Bansanga Dada, Bansanga Ina Maltun Vishawdi and Patra Deganda, Yan Bansanga the President Itin Rasad. Yan Buntsanga the Vishane Panpe. Buntsanga Mumbai 96-year-old Sangha, Sanpataj Varsha, Sanpatajnya Varsheta Narthonundu. Suru Malpnaga, Nama Idir Navalmata. First start Maldi Nama education the Mitincha Malpur Dada Malpur Band. Other night school itand Masta Nama Dumada Gulu, away night school to Kaltadini Masta Malamala industry, Bagamasmasta, Beta industry Mother Udler. Going forward, nama night school, book nama students ijjer, nama janokul mast edda level batter. Ita nama student ijje band last 4 varsha dumbu C.A. Shankarana time nama school band malpoda annanga. Because nama band students ijjer alba. At the dumbu nama SM Shettu ancha mast visionary magalada srad nama first institution malta provide SM Shetty institutions band. Band sangha SM Shetty institutions. At namada State board undu, anchane IGCSE international board undu, IB undu, junior college undu, degree college undu, post graduation undu, teacher training undu, kuda nama doctorate, PhD centers undu. At around 9,600 students ullar namada. Anchane at bokka next undu itavu SM Shetty nama 25th year celebration maltundu 25 varsha nama nadapudda. Panra mastu kushi apundu. One of the head Bombay the locality our best 3 schools in Namanja schools Panra Kushi Apundu. Anjane at Dumponaga Dumuda Kuda in Nama 75th year Nama Bansanga the Elpata in our shodo. Other Nama Yenan Lakuda education game Malpur Banda Bansanga the Edu the Kodanji Jagatonda Alpa NB Shetter the chairman Aditya, Vivek Shetter president Aditya, a time Nama Jaga purchase Malta, higher education institutions Naman Malta, Shashi Manmohan Shetty, higher education institutions Bandpudarundu. Ait Namada, junior college undu, degree college undu, hotel management institution undu, Anchane management institution undu. Ait Lamasta Kushiapun Manda Nama hotel management institution in Bombay the top 3 institution Bunjundu, best infrastructure institution Nama undu. Degana Nikul Mater Latini. Must Kushi upon the hotel industry, the Vishal Masta Paterier. No doubt, Nama Dumbu hotel industry is Bata, Yanla hotel industry there, and hotel association president Aditya. Nikul Bada Panpar, Nikul Panda, next generation of Malpur, Mother, unfortunate Panda, next generation Nama net to burn the Jer Samagat. Agulo, England hotel industry that like Jer, at the same time Nama Bansanga the fold burn the Jeragulo. Engmana Lekodu, Nama Enod and Materla, next generation Nama Incha involve Malpuno. Because Yan last Red Ocean G must one Maltandula, IBCC out to Batanda, Namaikla, Unmalpoli. Degana, when simple Engunji was to Gotundu, Nama in a illet dinji Kaldana, Aunanka Manded Sama Oriundu. And illet in Kaldijada Pakamala Kalparapujo. Anchene Dumbonaga Bansanga, ita Kudunji institution Malpara Potundu, last Red Ocean Mujo Dumbu, Nama Buriuli Wested. IC Nagard Nama on Jagatunda, a Jagodu, Nama college school the skills Suruatanda, at Indian Board Nama CBSC Undu, and international IGCSE, Boka IB Nama Maltandula. ಅವು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಲ್ಲ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೊಂದುಲ್ಲ ಅವಿನ ಮಲ್ಪೋಡು ದುಂಬು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘದ ಐತ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಪದ್ಮನಾಭ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅಂಚನೆ ಬೇತ ಪೂರ ಕೂಡ್ದು ಬಾಂಬೆದ ಟಾಪ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಮಲ್ತು ಈ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಔಟ್ ಬಂದು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಲ್ಲ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಪಂಡ ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂಜಿ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ತಿಕ್ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಲ್ಲ ಅಂಚನೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ನೆಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿದಾಗಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಂಡು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಒಂಜಿ 10 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ನೆಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಂಡು ಅವು ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಒಂದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಡು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಡು ಹತ್ತಿರ ಮ್ಯಾರೇಜ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮದ್ಮೇದ ನೆಟ್ ಆಡು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿದಾಗಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಪೂರ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಂಡು ನೆಕ್ ಒಂದು ಈ ಸರ್ತಿಂದ ಹತ್ತು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 96 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ನೆಟ್ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತಿ ಹಂತೋಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ನೆಕ್ ಇಂಚಾರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಉಂಡು ಇನ್ನು ಸಾಧಾರಣ 900 ಅರೌಂಡ್ 900 ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೀ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲಿರು ನಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅಂಚನೆ ಪಿದ್ಯಾದ ಬೇತೆ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ಲ ಬಾರಿ ಮಲ್ಲ ವಿಷಯ ಬಣ್ಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ನು ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಏರ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಣ ಯುವಕರು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ದರ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಓದರ ಆಪುಜಿಂದಲ್ಲ ಇಜ್ಜಾಗಲೇ ಆಗಲೇ ಬೂಡ್ತಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಮುಂಬೈ ಐಕ್ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಲ್ತಿತ್ತನು ಅಂಚನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೋಕುಲೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬೇತ ಊಲ ನೆಟ್ಟು ಆಗಲೇ ಮದ್ಮೇರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಜಿಂದಾಂಡ ಐಕ್ಲ ಬುಡ್ತಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಮಲ್ದಂಡು ದುಂಬೋನಾಗ ಹೊಸತ್ತೊಂದು ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಬೇಗೋಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾಲು ಮಲ್ತಂದಲ್ಲ ಕಂಕಣ ಭಾಗ್ಯ ಬಂದು ಏರ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಪುಂಜೋಕುಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿದ ಆಗಲೇ ಮದ್ಮೇರ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇತ್ತನಂದಾಂಡ ಆಯ್ತು ಪೂರ ಒಂದು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ತೂದಾಗಲೇ ಮಲ್ತು ಕೊರ್ಪಿನ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ಮಲ್ತಂದುಂಡು ಅಂಚನೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಮಲ್ಪರ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಬಂಗ ಒಂದು ಐದು ಕಾಸದ ತೊಂದರೆ ಅಂಡ ಐಕ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂಜಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಲೋನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ದೀತ ಆ ಲೋನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಪಂಡ ಇಟ್ಟು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಜ್ಜಾಯ್ತು ವಿದೌಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊರಪ ಆ ಜೋಕುಲು ಅವೇನಾಗಲ್ಲ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೊಕ್ಕ 2 ವರ್ಷದ ಬೊಕ್ಕ ಅವು ಕಾಸು ಆಗಲು ನಂಗೆ ಪಿರ ಕೊರೋಡು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಖುಷಿತ ವಿಷಯ ಪಂಡ ಇಟ್ಟು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಜೋಕುಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಣ ಜೋಕುಲು ಅವು ಕಲ್ತಾಯಿ ಬೊಕ್ಕ ಇಟ್ಟು ಡಬಲ್ ಡೆಚ್ಚ ಪಿರ ಕೊರಿ ನಂಗೆ ಈ ಲೋನ್ ನಂಗೆ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಎಡ್ಡೆ ಒಂದು ದೇ ಪಂಡ ಆ ಜೋಕುಲಿಗೆ ಇಂಚ ಫೀಲ್ ಆಪುಂಡು ಎಂಕುಲು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘದ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಗೆತ್ತೊಂದು ಎಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ಆಪುಂಡು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ದಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಟು ಕಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಲ್ಪೋಡು ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಲ್ತೀನಿ ಆಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ದಾನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನತ್ತಾಗಲೇ ಅಂಚ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಂಡು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಖುಷಿ ಆಪುಂಡು ಕೆ.ಸಿ. ಶೆಟ್ರು ಬೊಕ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ನಾಗುಲ್ಲ IBCC ಎಡ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಒಂದು ಮಲ್ಪೇರು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಟ್ಟು ಬತ್ತಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಕೊಡಲ ಇಡ್ಯಾರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಉಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿಗೆ ಹೆಸರದು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ನೆಟ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮಲ್ತಂದಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಟು ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಓನ್ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಲ್ದ ನಿಖಲ್ ಮಾತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅವ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಗೆ ಹೋದು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಮುಂಬೈ ಮಲ್ತಂಡ ಬರ್ಪುಂಡು ನಿಖಲ್ ಅವೇನು ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಲ್ಪುಲಿ ಐಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಪೂರ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೊರಪಿನ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಲ್ತಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಐಟ್ ಮೇನ್ ಬಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಐತೆ ಯಂಗ್ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಲ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ಝಿನ್ ಐಟ್ ಕನೊಂದಿಲ್ಲ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ ಆರ್ ಒಂಜರ ತಿಂಗಳದೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಲ್ತಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಪಂಡ ಬರೋದು ನೆಟ್ ಆ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ಝಿನ್ದ ನಮ್ಮ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಐತೆ ಪಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಯಂಗ್ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಣ ಎಂಚಿನ ಬಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಾವಡು ಇದಮ್ಮಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಂಟರವಾಣಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡ ನೆಟ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋಂತುಂಡು ಅವು ಹೊಸ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಆಗಲಿರಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಬುಜಿ ಅವು ಐಟ್ ಪೋಬುಜಿರು ಐಟ್ ಒಂಜಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಅವು ಮಲ್ತಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಐತ ಒಟ್ಟು ಯೂತ್ ವಿಂಗ್ದಾಗ ನೋಟು ಕೂಡ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇತೆ ಆಗಲೇ ಗಸದ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಮಿನಾರ್ಸ್ ಪನ್ಲೆ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು ಮಲ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಲ್ತಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಒಂಜಿ ಕಾಂತಾರ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿದ ಒಂಜಿ ವಸ್ತುನು ಬಾರಿ ಸುಲಭ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೋಕುಲೇನು ಲಕ್ಕಾರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ತಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇದ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಅಂಚ ವಸ್ತು ಉಂಡು ಅವು ಇಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಲಕ್ಕದ ರೆಡಿ ಮಲ್ತೊಂಬರೋವಾಗಲೇ ಏನೋ ಲೆಕ್ಕೋಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾತ ಈತ ಜನಕುಲು ಬೇತೆ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಬೇತೆ ನೆಟ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದಿರು ಆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆವಡು ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜನ್ರೇಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಆವಡು ದಿನ ಯಾನ್ ಟೂ ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಏರ್ ಅವಳು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇಡೋದಾಗಲ್ಲ ಜೋಕುಲು ಏರ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಗುಡಿ ಇಜ್ಜೇರು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ಬೇಕ ಸಮ ಅಲ್ಬಾರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಜ್ಜಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಡ್ದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸುರು ಮಲ್ತಂಡ ಅವೇನು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲ್ಪೋಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಂಗೆ ತೋಜುಂಡು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಒಂದುಪ್ಪು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಜೋಕುಲು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನೆಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನೆಟ್ಟು ಫೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬರೋಡು ಬಂದು ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಪುಂಡು ಲೇಟ್ ಆವಡ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲ್ತಂಡ ಎಡ್ಡೆ ಬಂದು ಎನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಅಂಚನೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಬೊಕ IBCC ನೆಟ್ ದುಂಬುಲವರ ಕೇಸಿಡ್ಲ ಪಾತಿರ್ದೆ ಅಂಚನೆ ಆಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಮಲ್ದ ಏಪಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಲೆ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘದ ಎಡ್ಡೆ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಉಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಉಂಡು ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಉಂಡು ಅವೇ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ನಮ್ಮನೆ ಐಗು ಅವು IBCC ಬೇತತ್ತು ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಬೇತತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಇರುವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿಗೆ ಮಲ್ಪುನು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಒಂದು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಕನೋಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡು ಏನಂಜಿ ಇನ್ವಿಟೇಷನ್ ಪಂದ್ರೆ ಎಡ್ಡೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮಗುಲೆ ಪೂರ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಟ್ಟು ಕುಲ್ದೊಂದು ಮಲ್ಪುಗಂತ ಬಂದು ನಿಗಲೊಂದು ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಕುರಿಯಾಡಿ ಪಾತೆರ್ರೆ ನೆಟ್ಟು ಮಾತೇನದ ಒಂದು ಪಾತೆರ್ನ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ತಿಕೊಂಡು ಏನೋ ಲೆಕ್ಕೊಡು ಏನೋ ಗುರುಗಳು ಉಳ್ಳೇ ಶಂಕರನ್ನೇ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬಂಡ್ ಸಂಘದ ನಮ್ಮ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಂತ ಅಂಚೆ ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ನೆಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮಲ್ತೊಂದುಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಈ ಸರ್ತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅಡಾಪ್ಷನ್ ಶುರು ಮಲ್ತ ಪಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಬಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿದ ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಉಂಡು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಾಡು ಬ್ರೆಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿನೇ ಬೆಡ್ ಉಲ್ಲೆ ಜೋಕುಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಉಲ್ಲೇರು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಪುಂಜು ಪೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೌಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಲ್ತದ್ದು ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ತಂದುಲ್ಲೇರು ಕೆಲವರು ಅವಲ ಮಲ್ಪರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಜ್ಜಿ ಅಂಚಿನಾಗಲ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಲ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಇಂಚಿ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅಡಾಪ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಲ್ತ ಎಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡೊಂಜಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೊಸ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಮಲ್ತ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಷನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಸಡ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಜೋಕುಲು ಇಂಚ ಉಲ್ಲೇರು ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಉಲ್ಲೇರು ಒಂಜಿ ಬಾಲ್ಯ ಒಂಜಿ ಉಂಡು ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತೊಂದು ರಡ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಆ ಬಾಲ್ಯದ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗುಲಂಚ ಉಲ್ಲೇರು ಆಗುಲ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಉಲ್ಲೇರು ಆಗಲಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಲ್ಪರ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಖರ್ಚು ಹಾಪುಂಡು ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಐತನ್ನು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಭಂಗ ಹಾಪುಂಡು ತೋ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ಒಂದು ಮಲ್ತದ್ದು ಇನ್ನು ಮೂಜಿ ಮಲ್ಲ ಮಲ್ಲ ಇವೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಬತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಇವೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಆ ಬಾಲ್ಯ ಅಂಚನೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಂಗಲು ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಒರ್ಂಬ ಜೋಕಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಡಾಪ್ಷನ್ ಮಲ್ದ ಆಗಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಮಲ್ಪುನ ಆ ಥರ ಬೇತೆ ಊಲ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಲ್ಪುನ ಪೂರ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘ ತೂ ಒಂದುಂಡು ತೋ ಅಂಚ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲ್ಪುವ ನಿಗಲು ಮಾತೆಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘದ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿನ ಬಲೆ ತೂಲೆ ಆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ನಿಗಲೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪಂಡ ಬಣ್ಣ ಸಂಘದ ಇದು ನಾನು ಇನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಎಂಗಲ್ನ ಒಂದು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ದೀಪಕಣ್ಣ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಉಲ್ಲಿರು ಬಾಂಬೆಡು ತೋ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಪಂಡ ಮಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಮೋಡಿಟಿ ನಿಗಲು ಮಾತ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸೇ ಪಾತಿರ್ನು ಏನಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂಡ 5 ಮಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಚ್ಚಿ ಯಾನ್ ಆಹಾರದ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅದು ಪುನಗ ಎಂಗುಲೊಂಜಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಮಲ್ತ ಏನ ಪಂಡ ಯಾನ್ ಪಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಹಾರ ಪಂಡ ಎಂಗುಲು ಎಡ್ಮಸಾರ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಒಂಜಿ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ದಗುಲು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಎಂಗುಲು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಲ್ದಿ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಶರ್ ದಗುಲು ಅವ್ಲು ಬಿಕ್ನಿ ಶೋಡು ಭಾರಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಲ್ತೊಂತೀರು ಬಟ್ ಎಂಗುಲು ಮಾರ್ನಗಲಿ ದಾಲ ಕೊರಂತೀಯರು ಅವುಲು ಎಂಗುಲು ಎಂಗಲ್ಲ ಒಂಜಿ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ಜಿಬ್ಲಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಂಡ್ ಎಂಗಲ್ಲ 25th ಇಯರ್ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಲ್ಪನೆಗಳು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಲ್ತ ಎಂಗುಲು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮುಡ ಪೋದು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಮಲ್ತ ಎಂಗಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗೆ ತೂರಂತೂ ಒಂದಿಜ್ಜರು ಆ ಟೈಮು ನಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ತೊಯಪಾಡು ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಶರ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಬಂದು ಲಾಂಚ್ ಆಂಡ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಆನಾಗ ಎಂಗ್ಲು ಬಂದ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜನಕ್ಕೂಲೆಗೆ ಅದ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಎಂಗಲ್ಲ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಡ್ ಕಿ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಶರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಲ್ಪರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಜ್ಜಿ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಶರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೇರೆ ಆಪಿನಿಂದ ಅಂಚಿನ ಪುನಗ ಎಂಗುಲೊಂಜಿ ಪೆಪ್ಸಿದನ ಕೋಕ್ದ ಒಂಜಿ ಲಾಂಚಿಂಗ್ ಪೋಯ್ ಅದಾಗ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ವೀರೇಂದ್ರ ಶೆಹ್ವಾಗ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಬಾಸಿಡರ್ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಕೋಟಿಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ಕೊರದೊಂದು ಮಲ್ಪೇರು ಎಂಕುಲು ಕಾಂಡಬೆಯ ಮಾರನು ಎಂಕುಲು ಎಂಕಲಿಂದಾಲ ಎರಲ ಪನ್ಪುಜೇರು ತೌಲು ಎಂಕಲ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎಂಕುಲು ಎನ್ಕೌಂಟರ್ ಆಂಡ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ನೋಟು ಎಂಕುಲು ಪಂಡ ಆಯನಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಾಟಲ್ ತೊಯ್ಪಾವೆ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ನಾಗಲ್ಲ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ನಾಗಲ್ಲ ಬಾಯಿ ಕೊಂದೀಪಿನ ಎಂಕಲಿನ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಎಂಕುಲು ಒಂದು ತೋ ಎಂಕುಲು ಅವು ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಲ್ತ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಶರ್ ಬ್ಲೂ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪೂರ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಮಲ್ತದ್ದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಿಮೈಸಸ್ ಬನ್ನ ಪಂಡೇರು ಇಜ್ಜಿ ಎಂಕಲ್ನ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಡಿಕ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬೈತಂಡು ಗೆತ್ತೊಂಡ ಸಾಧ್ಯಜಿಂದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಗೋಡೌನ್ ಓವರ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಂಡ್ ಬಿಯರ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚ ಸಮಯ ದೀಪಿನ ವಸ್ತತ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಲ್ಯ ಆರ್ನ ಫಾದರ್ನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟ್ ಲಾಲಾ ಪಂದು ಬೊಂಬೈ ಬತ್ತೀರು ಎಂಗಲ್ ನೋಡಿ ಕುಲ್ದು ಮಲ್ತೀರು ಇನಿಕ್ಲ ಎಂಕಲ್ನ ಓಲ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಹೊಸದು ಲಾಂಚ್ ಆವಡಂದ ಅಗುಲು ಆಹಾರದ ರೆಕಮೆಂಡೇಶನ್ ಅಜ್ಜಿನ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಗೆತ್ತೊಂದು ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಲ್ಪೋಡು ಆಹಾರದ ನೆಟ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಮಲ್ಪೋಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಪಂಡ ಒಂಜಿ 5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಎಂಗುಲೊಂಜಿ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಲ್ದ ದೀಪಕಣ್ಣ ಐತೊಟ್ಟು ಎಂಗುಲು B2B ಪಂದ ಎಂಗುಲು ಮಲ್ತೊಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಟು ಬಣ್ಸ್ ಪಂಡ ಏನ ಪಂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾತ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ದಗುಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಂಗುಲು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ಪಂಡ ಎಂಗಲಿಗೆ ಪಕ್ಕ ತಿಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ರೆಸ್ಟೋರೆಂಟ್ ನಿಗಲಿನ ಆತ್ ಪಕ್ಕ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಲ್ಪರ ಆಪುಜಿ ಆಂಡ ನಿಗಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಇತ್ತ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೋಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲಯನ್ಸದ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿದಾಗಲು ಮಸ್ತ್ ಜನ ಉಳ್ಳೇರು ಇನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಮಾತಿರ್ಲ ಕೊರ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪ್ರಮೋಷನ್ ಮಲ್ಪರ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊರ್ಪ ಆಫರ್ಸ್ ಕೊರ್ಪ ಬೇತೆ ಕೊರ್ಪ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡೇ ನಂಗೆ ಆಫರ್ ಕೊರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಉಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಂಟರಿಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕೊರ್ಪೆ ನಂಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಂಟ್ಸ್ನಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು ಒಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಆಫರ್ಸ್ ತಿಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವು ನಮ್ಮ ಬಂಟ್ ಬಂದು ಎಂಗುಲು ಆಯ್ತು ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದನು ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಪೂರ ತಿಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿಮೋನಿಯಲ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೈಟ್ ಉಂಡು ಮೂಜಿ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ದ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ತೂವರ್ ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಉಂಡು ಹೊಸ ತಾಪಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ದ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಆಯ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಪಡಂದುಪ್ಪುವ ಅಂಚೆನೆ ಬೇತೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಉಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ದಾಡ್ ಇತ್ಯಾನ ಅಡಾಪ್ಷನ್ದ ಪಂಡ ಪೂರ ಆಯ್ತು ತೂವರ್ ತಿಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸೊ ನಿಗಲ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ದೇಗನ್ನ ಇತ್ತ ನಿಗುಲಿತ ಮೂಲ ತೂವರೆ ಪೋಯಡ ನಿಗಲ್ನ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 90% ಜನಗುಲ್ನ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಉಂಡని ಗೊತ್ತಿಜ್ಜಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಉಪ್ಪಂದು ಅಗಲ್ನ ಅಪ್ಡೇಷನ್ ತ ಉಪ್ಪರೆ ಉಪ್ಪಂದು ದೇಗನ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾತ ಪಾತಿರುವ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆದ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆದ ನಮ್ಮ ಬುಕ್ಕರೇ ಪನ್ಕ ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಮಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆದಂಡು ದೇಗನ ಒಂದು ಆ್ಯಪ್ ಮಲ್ಪನಾಗ ಇಂಗುಲ್ ಮಲ್ಲ ಒಂಜಿ ಡಾಟಾ ಗ್ರಿಡ್ ಪಂದು ಒಂಜಿ ಒನಗಲೇನು ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಲ್ತ ಅಗುಲು ಸುರುಟು ಜೀತು ಪಂದು ಒಂಜಿ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಲ್ತಾರೆ ಅವು ಜೇನ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆಗಲ್ನ ಅಗಲ್ನ ಜೇಂಡ್ಲ ಅಗಲ್ನ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಬೇತೆ ಬೇತೆ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಉಂಡು ಅಗಲ್ ಪೂರ ಕೂಟದೊಂದು ಜೀತು ಬಂದು ಮಲ್ತೀನಿ ಮರ್ಸಿಡೀಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡೆಡ್ ಆಗಲೇ 14 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಕೊರಿಯರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ದುಂಪು ಹೋನಾಗ ನಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇಡೀ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದೇನು ಶೋ ಮಲ್ತ ನಂಗೆ ಏತಲ ನಂಗೆ ಇಂಥ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಗೆದ್ದವಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಗೆ ಪೂರ ಖರ್ಚೆ ಒಂದು ಇನಿ ಆಹಾರ ಒಂದು ಟೈಮ್ ಆರು AGM ಮಲ್ಪನಾಗ ಕೈಟ್ ಕಾಸು ಪಾಡ್ದು ಮಲ್ತೊಂದು ನಿತ್ತೈತಿ ಎವ್ರಿ AGM ಸಾಧಾರಣ 1 ಕೋಟಿ ಮುಟ್ಟ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ನಂಗೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನಿಗಲು ಮಾತ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ದಾಗ ನಿಗಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ದ ವಿಷಯ ಪನ್ಪಿನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಇಜ್ಜಿ ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಕೋಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದೇನು ಮಾತ ಒಟ್ಟುಕೊಡ್ದು ಮಲ್ಪುಗ IBCC ಬತ್ತಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಏಪಲ್ ಎಟ್ಟು ಮಲ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ನಿಗಲು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಪಾತಿನ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Namaskar everyone. I know I am the last man standing here between you and a very sumptuous dinner that is, awaiting you. However, I am just requesting for some more minutes so that I can express gratitude and finish my honorable task. On behalf of IBCCI, I am extremely honored to be presenting the vote of thanks today and acknowledging the efforts of so many members putting in and ensuring that this event is really successful. Before I go ahead, I must say that I'm impressed with the audience. You guys have been so patient and energetic. Can we put our hands together and have a small thank you so much. Really appreciate. Thank you so much. I would also, take this opportunity to thank the sponsors today. Actually, no one has spoken about them. And all of them are BOD members who've put in their own money to ensure that we have this event today. So Aditi Essentials, Grow More, Lumens India, Nisarga, Canada Tools and Travels, Vasudha Chemicals. One more round of applause, please. Thank you so much. Okay, I would like to first express gratitude to Mr. Nilesh Shah. I think his presentation was fantastic. And I love the way he had Bollywood and the cricket all mixed into it, gave a good message. And I truly, I felt very proud of being an Indian. I would say Jai Hind, Jai Tulunad, and Jai Maharashtra. Thank you. I would also, Mahesh Bhai, superb. The way you spoke, the macro level, the micro level, your thoughts on risk and opportunity was fantastic, and thank you for all the time. Thank you. Moving on, I would like to thank Mr. Chandra Shetty, President Bunts Sangha, a great leader whom I look up to personally. He was very busy, Ratnakar sir, and I think even Harishana is not there. They have all been busy. You took your time. Your thoughts were really good. Yes, Kantara picture has doing fantastic. The only problem is in May we had, to book a cola, but there are no dates. So, but good to, good to them. And Mr. Deepak Shetty, 4 minutes, but they were fantastic. I'm sure we would be coming back to you for some more time and, really express gratitude. Thank you. I would like to also thank all the office bearers and committees, subcommittees of Bunts Sangha. Actually, Ratnakar sir is there, Harishana is today, and there are many others whom I cannot take their name because of the time. But I thank all of them, express gratitude. Thank you, and a very heartfelt thanks to all the office bearers and members of AHAR, Jawab, Bunts Association, the Legal Association. My friends in SM Shetty School, they had come here today, office bearers and trustees. Thank you for that. We very important, we express gratitude and a special thank to all the media people in, Kishana, how important to have the media people in. So thank you so much for coming in and being a part of this event. A special thanks to all the prominent, Shankar uncle. Lot of them don't know when we were having the IBCCI event. Yeah. So we would always go to Shankar uncle's office, and he was a great host. Thank you so much. Thank you all the entrepreneurs here, all the business magnates who have come in, and the second generation. Praveer is here. I think Rohan is here. you guys need to take this forward. I think it's important that you all join in and, make an impact. Thank you so much. A special thanks to Peninsula Grand Hotel. I think Satish, and I don't know if he's here. Yesterday, we had gone and met him, and he has extended his full support. We express gratitude. And it was very nice to know when we met him yesterday, he said that he would like his children also to be involved in IBCCI and see how we can take this platform ahead and help all Bunts entrepreneurs. Sushil, thank you. You've been a great event organizer. Thank you so much for your efforts here. Finally, a special thanks to our president, Mr. K.C. Shetty, all the office bearers. I think, he deserves it, and to the entire IBCCI as well. It's not easy to, put in your time. So thank you, Srinatana, thank you. Thank you to all the office bearers of IBCCI, core committee, and advisors. Finally, I would, one last request before I end this, is that there are many of us here who are non-members. My humble request to all are that please fill the form, please become members, and please contribute. Like Chandra Sankal said about the Jains, that they are so close-knit and they do so much for their community. Let's get together and take Bunts to the next level. Friends, I think the dinner is waiting. The bar is open. Thank you so much and good evening. Thank you. The dinner is in the first floor. Thank you so much.
I would like to